Thank you very much for tuning in to the 5 Pence Change podcast. If you could, drop us a like, comment, subscribe, give us a follow, wherever platform you choose to listen or watch this on. We really appreciate it.
Ew. What was that?
It's just, it goes on at the beginning. Is that not good?
That was so lame. Hi, my name is John. Please.
Do you want to do it?
Before that? No.
I hate doing it.
That was so fake. Hi, I'm a sweet little boy.
I hate doing it. Anyway, let's crack on with the episode.
Yeah.
What a twist.
Who are ya? Who are ya? Hey.
I think I'm going to pass out. All my toes in his mouth.
I can't get the eyelashes right. I've just had them done.
You can do it. Welcome to episode 40 of the 5 Pence Change. And we have our first guest.
And I am gassed at our first guest. We couldn't have got anyone better in my eyes, honestly.
Hey, come on.
I'd agreed with you until he just fucking was like, what the fuck was that?
We have got the absolutely incredible Kevin Fair.
Hey. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for
What
coming.
a dream.
Thank you for being here.
I know. I'm doing you guys a big favor. No, just watch this episode just tank. That guy, annoying. Can I just say, partially racist.
I did say this.
Yeah.
I was like, she was like, I'm getting him Tim Hortons. He'll love it. I was like, what if he
Just
doesn't?
wanted to bring a bit of Canada to you.
Yeah,
I am on a weight loss journey for the past
there's no
30 years of my life.
There's
No calories in that?
these ones. No. In any of it.
It's not because they're free, so it doesn't count.
I've had these. They're terrible.
Oh,
they're
really?
not. They're nothing like the actual ones in Canada. So actually, you've upset me, and you've offended me, and I don't even want to do this. This is like
Move the fucking donuts.
yeah. That's like if I was a smackhead and you just had a whole like a spoon and everything set up there, and I'm like, I'm trying not to.
Let me try one though.
Oh, you.
I believe that's
Which one? Can you open? I want to see which ones you got. Did you just get a?
I
This is
handpicked
tease.
them.
I'm getting like blue balled by donuts now.
You've just slacked them off.
I'm
as well.
sweating.
Aroused.
So
The pillow.
It's not that big.
I can't even open it.
Come on.
What's wrong with me? Oh. So we've gone with
see,
two
what
of the
is
Boston
that?
cream ones. Maple caramel,
No.
traditional Canadian maple, and an
Load of
original
shite.
glaze.
No.
Okay,
It's
well, that's
not.
a ring that you're not putting your finger in, but I'll find you somewhere else.
Oh, cheeky bitch.
I want that one.
I know you want that one with the
Yeah,
cubes.
I want
You
that
can
What
have that one.
what Timbits do we have?
I don't know.
Because
Is that just a small donut?
It's basically,
it's the whole of the donut.
it's just like a little ball.
What were you gonna say? I feel like you had a.
There's birthday cake ones, there was apple ones, there was glazed ones. I don't know. They're all just in there.
Don't put it in.
Don't. This is tease.
The guy's in a massive calorie deficit right now.
I'm only having 6,000 calories a day. No.
Wait, I was going to say.
ridiculous.
I was like,
Good for you.
They're so nice. Are you sure you
Oh,
don't want
really?
one?
Yeah.
don't do
Great. Thank you, John.
Sorry.
Just as a little treat. It's bank holiday, so it doesn't count.
Piss off.
No, don't be a bad. This is why I can't lose weight.
Do you know what?
Oh, don't blame me.
Okay, I had a breakthrough with my wife about this, and yeah, I'm not gay. I had a breakthrough with my wife, and I was like, I think with like donuts is ever not that bad. It's chocolate. Like I'm really bad with chocolate, and I was like, I think I'm on that borderline addiction of like. This is gonna sound probably gonna be annoyed at this, like alcoholic addiction with chocolate, because I don't have like. Oh, just have a chocolate. Like, you're fine. I'm like, well, that's the rest of the week's done. And it's like it's like 4 or 5 bars. It's not like, oh, one Kit Kat before bed. This is nice. It's like, it's bad. It's to the point, like, I don't know how I have legs. Like, it's what? The diabetes? I don't know how it's not coursing.
I've had that. Do you know when someone has like, say, like a big bar Galaxy, and they're like, do you want some? And they just break you off like a little piece. And I'm sat there like, where's the fucking rest?
Yeah. Also,
What's this, a starter?
have you ever shared a share bag?
No.
Not once in my life have I shared a share bag. Who's that for?
That's just a standard size normal
I'm
package.
getting 2. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing each one to myself.
It's hard though. I find find it so fucking. I'm like you though, that borderline crackhead addiction.
Yeah.
I know those fucking donuts are there, and I'm like, those donuts are there. Have one.
You don't care. You're not listening to me.
I just know they're there. I'm peeking over at them. I'm like, I'll be there soon.
Whispering to you.
And if I never had to eat chocolate again, I'd be okay with that.
Oh, must be nice
fuck
being
off.
thin.
This is what I have to deal with.
Do you struggle with anything? Like, is it? Or do you have like a sandwich and you're like, oh, I'm full?
Heavy flowing and wide
I
set
am-
vagina.
Can't help it.
Have you ever struggled with weight? I know it's not. You're not supposed to say that too.
No. Literally, there was once, and I got a little bit chunky, but I wasn't really chunky. I was just a stone heavier than I am now, and I thought I need to lose this. So I went to the gym for 3 months, lost the stone, and I've maintained it. That was 2017. And I've been the exact same size ever since. And I just eat what I want whenever I want, but I haven't got a huge sweet tooth, which I think is what pays off.
But can you have like a big fuck off like meal, or do you just and you're still
I eat big.
okay?
I've seen her go for a roast at Toby's, and
I'll get the
she
king
will get the
size
big plate.
roast.
She will get more than me.
Oh, see, I hate that. My wife.
I hate people like that. Yeah, I hate it.
Sorry.
We just have the bad metabolism. That's what it is.
That's it,
I have
really.
the metabolism of a 90-year-old man.
Yeah, I have a really underactive thyroid. I went to the doctors and like, because you know what, you probably get it. Whenever you go to the
Well,
doctors,
yeah.
no matter what it is, it's weight related.
Oh, yeah,
like you could
yeah.
walk in with your arm falling off.
Yeah.
Like, that probably could do with losing a few pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, well, this detaches. I will be. Like, and I'm sat there, right, and like literally, I was going like about the weight. I was like, you know what, I do struggle a little bit. Like, could it be my thyroid? And the doctor just went, nope.
Imagine we started laughing.
The worst part was I didn't even go in for that. I went in to get a mole checked, and then the woman went, and obviously we need to talk about weight management. And I was like, what?
Okay.
What do you mean, obviously?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because my arse doesn't fit in between these fucking chairs. Like,
Do you know I went, and it's so different. The NHS is so much different to, in Canada, we call it OHIP, and it's the same thing. It's like free healthcare.
Oh, okay.
Taxpayers pay for it. But in Canada, you could go in, and you could have an ailment and go, I want to get an x-ray for this. And they'll go, yeah, so we have next Wednesday. Like you can without...
fuck off, really?
Seriously, I would go in because I had like really bad... I was a really bad, still am kind of hypochondriac. So I'm like, oh, I
Health
have...
anxiety.
Yeah. So
I have it too.
Health anxiety. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I'm nervous, but I always am. So I would always go in, especially when I was younger. I'm like, I think now I have diabetes. And they're like, okay, let's get another blood test. Or like, oh, I think, my hearing's gone. So they'd send me hearing tests. Like you can get
my
everything
God.
done right away and there's no problem. Here, it's like, I have a broken leg. It's like, can you be seen in 3 years from now?
Yeah.
Okay, legs on backwards.
I was literally, when you said that, because like, so my health anxiety is through the roof.
Yeah.
I like at the beginning of this year, we haven't actually discussed my health problems
I
on
don't
here.
think you have gone into it because I think you're that petrified of it that
Of
you
it,
just don't
that I
even want to
don't.
talk about
Right.
it half the time.
So at the beginning of this year, I started getting this constant headache in the same place, right? And after
AIDS.
about 5 weeks, I Googled it, and Google was like, you haven't got long.
Brain aneurysm. You ever heard of
Yeah, me.
Oh.
I'm like, I genuinely, one day I went to A&E because I thought I was having a stroke. I Googled, am I having a stroke? And Google was like, if you can Google it, no. But I still thought I was having a stroke. And I went to the doctors and I was like, listen, I've had this headache for about 5 or 6
This
weeks
is getting.
now.
I'm starting to get like.
Yeah, it does.
I'm getting like a little.
I genuinely thought, I was like, it's over for me. I'm on the end. Like, this is the end of it. I've got days left. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, and I went to the doctors and the doctors went, sounds like just a headache. I was like, I've had it for 6 weeks, mate. Can you just send me for a scan he was like, nah.
This is what I've heard about this here, and this is what scares me. I've heard actually like stuff like that happen, and they go, "Oh no, you're fine," and then it's bad here. Whereas in Canada, it's like it's so readily available. So if I said like, "Oh, I have something," they'll be like, "Oh, you can get a CAT scan tomorrow," and it's
I'm
like
moving to Canada.
it's great for that. But I was
Beautiful.
I was so bad when I was like 16. I had like my first like panic attack. And mine was all health related, which again, maybe if I just walked and didn't eat terribly, I would have been fine. But I used to think brain aneurysm. I used to think, okay, my spleen's going to blow up. And so I used to call ambulances all the time. And I would call like mid panic attack. I'm like, hi, I think I'm having a panic attack. They're like, okay, like, are you? And they're like, I'm like, I think I'm having actually a heart attack. Okay, would you like us to come? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, should you come? And they would be like, I don't know. Like, do you want us to come? And they would come. And by the time they would get there, and this is where my Irish guilt comes in, they would get there, my panic attack was gone. But I felt guilty that they came there. So I'd start being like, Like I'd still keep it going.
I'm laughing, but I'd be the same.
Yeah.
If I was in that situation and see him pull up, I'd be like, oh shit, forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'd just lie on the floor and pretend to be dead.
I know.
I'm gone.
For everybody, you could just go, guys, it was me again. Yeah, like go. But I would get in there, and I remember they would clip me on, and then the actual ambulance, like the paramedics would be like, you're fine. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'm like hyperventilating, so scared. So it was
get
just
inside your own head.
Oh yeah, and there was one time, and I literally think it was a gas bubble. Like I just had to fart, and I was like, my liver or my intestine just exploded in my head. That's what. And I was in class. I was grade 11. I don't know. I was probably like 16, and I remember I was like, oh, like my whole intestine just blew up. That's where my head went, and it got to the point there, and I went in the toilet, and I remember just sitting there and just being like, I'm actually gonna die. And I texted my mom and said, I think I'm gonna die, which is sad, but then I just had a huge fart, and it was great. I was like, oh my God, thank us.
Nah, honestly, mine is
It
so
feels
bad.
real though when it's happening.
When it happens to you, I still every so often now, like with this pain, it turns out it's nerve pain, right?
Okay.
So I'll still get every so often a little shooting pain down my face, and I'm like, this is it, it's over.
Okay, this sounds really bad. Have you ever eaten so much and you've gone to bed and you're like, I think this is it? Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that, or is that just me?
No, I've done
okay,
that. Yeah.
That's bad.
When it's up here, like, is that indigestion or is that the onset of a heart attack?
And I'm like, I think this is it.
And you
I'm
start
like,
googling it.
Yeah,
literally, me and my mate are the worst. We it's weird because he's got it as well. And when he's saying, like, rings me up and he'll be like, I think I got this. I'll be like, so my mate's actually quite fit, right?
Yeah.
As in like
hot.
No, it's in like active. Like he's a solid 7. Like he's a good looking lad, right? And so he was training for a marathon. He ran 17 miles, right?
Oh, okay.
And then he gets home and he's like, oh yeah, I was just feeling a bit fatigued. Like I couldn't really catch my breath. My chest was tight. So I Googled it. I think I've got COPD. I was
That's
like, what?
Smoking your whole life, isn't it?
And he was like, I think I got COPD. And he genuinely went to doctors to ask him if he had COPD. And he told the doctor why. He was like, this is why I think I got COPD.
But he just ran a marathon.
Yeah, the doctor laughed. He went, you haven't got COPD, mate. You got symptoms of running 17 miles. That is literally what is wrong with you.
But then there's people that do that drop dead.
Drop dead.
Football players.
Yeah.
And then there's people, I don't know if you ever had this show here. There's a huge in North America. It's called My 600-Pound Life.
Yeah.
And these guys, 800-pound, every day, I eat 30,000 calories. Heart's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
And they're living.
Yeah.
They're just like, just got me a little mobility scooter and that. I find it, even in my head, what I find funny is with my health anxiety and all that, it's like, I've got health anxiety, but and I'm just dead scared. I don't want to die. What can I do to make myself all right? And as soon as they say diet and exercise, I'm like, let's not do anything fucking drastic.
Actually, I feel better.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
What's your health anxiety?
I haven't got any.
Of course you haven't.
And this is why when he starts flapping and he's like, Michelle, I think I'm having a stroke. And I'm like, you're not though. Like, I'm just very matter of fact. I'm okay. If I'm crippled in pain, I will think, maybe I need a shit. Maybe I need a fart. Maybe I'm due on and it's period cramps. But you know what? I'll just take on the day as I normally would and we'll see what happens.
And I'd be like, Michelle, my face hurts again. And she was like, if you die, I'll play this song at your funeral. I'm like,
I know it's serious. I'd start stroking your hair. I'd start singing to you. Like trying to calm you down. Like it's
every day.
She's the worst. She's like, she'll ring me. She's like, have you died? I'm like, no. She's like, I didn't think you would.
You sound like my parents. I would go to them with serious things. My mom, anything. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
Anything. Like I really don't feel. Go outside. I'm like, okay, like dying here. It gets some air, fresh air to cure everything. I'm like, all right. But I went. This makes me sound like I'm going to target you, but it's the best thing I ever did.
Go on.
I went. This was 2 months before I moved to the UK. I moved here about. Is this
for
this
you?
Me? Yeah. I moved here just 13, 14 months ago. So this is just before I moved here. This is what I was meaning to say. So in Canada, you have family doctors. So it's the one doctor that you have. I don't know if they have that here.
No.
No, it's just
You might never see the same doctor twice.
Okay, so that in Canada, that would be considered a walk-in clinic. So you'd go in, it would be different doctors rotating. But if you have a family doctor, which I think everybody should have, it's amazing because they start you from when you're young and they know all your stuff. You go in, they see you, they know everything about you, and they know about family history. So this doctor, he's like, Kev, just before you head off, I was just realizing like through OHIP we can sort you out. I think you got a thick neck, and he said it like that, and I was like, okay. He goes, I think you might have sleep apnea, and I was like, okay. He goes, are you tired a lot? I'm like, when am I not tired? Like I'm always tired. He's like, I'm just going to send you for a test and we'll sort it out. Again, test is free, which is amazing in Canada. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, what is this? So I go in, they put all the little like things on your head. You go there, they strap a thing around your chest. You go into like a sleep clinic thing. So you sleep, and then they wake you up at 5. They're channeling your brain waves, like how you're breathing. They put stuff on your like feet as well to see if you like twitch in your sleep. So I thought nothing of it. I was like, I'll just do it before I go, see what happens. So then a month later, they're like, yeah, your results are in. So I go to this other doctor, and he was like this old, like, sassy German man. And he's like kind of sexy. So he's like reading the thing. He goes, oh. And I was like, what? He goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah.
Oh my
are you
God,
okay? And I'm like,
send me.
yeah. And I'm like, I didn't even.
Your head was full.
I can't feel my arm.
So, but at that moment, he said, but I was so, like, I didn't even know what sleep apnea was. I didn't think about it. I'm like, I have enough to worry about. What is this? He goes, do you feel okay? And I'm like, yeah, well, like, now tell me. He goes, you stop breathing per hour 77 times an hour. And I went, what? He's like, that's more than once a minute. And I was like, so I'm not breathing through the night. He goes, yeah, you must be like tired. And I was like, yeah. He goes, so you're waking and your brain is like, whoa, like we're not breathing. I was like, okay. He goes, so I'm going to get you like a sleep like machine and your life will be better. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right. So I was like, well, I'm moving in a month. He goes, don't worry, I'll get it sorted. And I was like, okay. So I go in to do another sleep test, and I'm a mouth breather, which is gross, but I always breathe through my mouth. I think I have a deviated septum. So they try put this thing on my nose. Okay, so put all the stuff on, and they're like, okay, we're going to give you the machine to test it, see how it works. So I'm doing that, but then I breathe through my mouth, so it's the air that's going in was just shooting out of my mouth. So they said, okay, we'll give you an actual like thing over your face. So I was like, okay. So I put it on my face, and it was actually not that bad. And then I slept, and I woke up, and I literally felt, I've never done drugs, honestly. I did weed once, and I panicked. But I assume it's what cocaine felt like. I woke up the next morning like, is everybody good? And he's like, yeah. He goes, so you only stop breathing. This is like this other guy. He goes, you only stop breathing twice in an hour with this machine on. I'm like, is that what this energy is? And he's like, yeah, this is what normal people feel like. And I was like, oh. And then I go back to sassy German. He goes, so we're gonna get you a BiPAP machine. He goes, so because you do stop breathing a lot and you are heavy, it is going to be why am I Indian now? It's going to be. He's like.
I tried doing a Welsh accent the other week.
Talking to you, it's horrendous.
I tried doing Welsh the other week, and I swear now we committed a hate crime. It was like, I'm not doing any more accents again.
He goes, we're putting it on the highest pressure, so you'll be good. And I had it ever since. And honestly, I think they actually, you can sort it out here. I think it's not all fully free, but this is going to, I don't know why I'm telling you this now. Sleep apnea is really dangerous.
Yeah.
And do you snore? You got a thick neck. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, your shirts are at the back, aren't they? Yeah.
Because
I've got a thick neck.
You got a thick neck. That almost sounds sexy, doesn't
I know,
it?
yeah.
Hey,
I like my necks like I like my women.
Imagine a girl coming up, you got a really thick neck. Like, that's like, oh.
I wouldn't know whether to be like flattered or slap it. I was like, the fuck?
But sleep apnea, to scare you even more,
great.
shaves off 20 years of your life.
Does it?
Yes, I went crazy research after this. Shaves off 20 years of your life. Most people that die in their sleep is because of sleep apnea.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm going to be panicking. I'm not going to
That pain in your face, you don't need to worry about it. It's when you go to bed.
You're snore yourself to death.
It's Alzheimer's goes up by 50% if you have sleep apnea. Your chance of getting it. It's so wild. So since I've had the machine now a year and a bit, and only twice I've slept without it, and I've woken up the next day the worst headache. I feel terrible the whole day, and I felt like that all the time.
I wake up groggy. Maybe I do. I would.
Bad.
Well, I have to. How would you know if you've got sleep apnea?
Well, generally,
if you have
your partner would tell you that you snore.
In his eyes, he's going, "You probably got it."
well, actually, I asked him. I said, I went to the sassy German. I said, "Is it just because I'm very overweight?" He goes, "No, little children have it as well." And I was like, "I don't know why he wasn't that gay."
I like it.
I
like him.
But he was like 80 years old and kind of cool. He said, "Yeah, kids have it." He goes, "It's all about the soft palate." And I was like, "Oh." He goes, "It depends how it's grown. Like if it rests back, because as you're sleeping, your soft palate like." if you have a large soft palate, which even skinny, thin people have.
I hope you've got a soft palate.
Me too, because apparently you have nothing wrong.
Just something.
I hope you get Alzheimer's. I hope you die 20 years.
Thank you.
Take 20 years off alive.
But yeah,
You women are invited for the funeral, and you can fuck off from the buffet too.
I would come to your funeral in my CPAP mask.
I told her.
Yeah. It's great. My wife was like shocked at how she's like, I don't make any sound now, like, because I used to make like weird, like, so I'd snore, but I'd also go like weird, like orgasm sounds.
Thinking of this sexy German guy.
That's what I was thinking. Oh. But I would suggest looking it up, because I asked, and it's not just that. He goes, the more weight you lose, you can actually reverse it. But a lot of children now, like, they're doing studies on it, have it as well. So
Really?
I would suggest, not even to like in a health wise, like, well, yeah, in a health, it's just I just feel so much better.
Honestly, I'm going to be going. I'm ringing the doctor in the morning.
I'm
8 o'clock. I'll be like, I think I've got sleep apnea.
Like you're getting through on the first attempt. Hang on a minute. Put it down. Try again.
Kevin Finn told me I've got sleep apnea. I've got a thick neck. I want to see the sexy German doctor as well, please.
just say I'm your partner, and I say you snore a lot in your sleep, because that's what they'll probably ask you.
I sleep alone, so no one's there to tell me.
I think we know. No, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I'm being nasty. It's a sassy German man. It's come through me. Just literally say, this sounds sad. My partner says I snore, and because that's like the biggest thing. And
might start showing off. Like, one of the many one night stands I had is telling me I snore. You know what I mean? I don't know which one it was. I think it was Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but she said I snore.
The sexy thing. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. Not to get serious, but.
No,
I'll add that one to your list, John.
Yeah, I think I've got sleep apnea. I'm going to make the phone to Paul in the morning.
I know you will.
Paul, I think I've got sleep apnea. I've got a thick neck.
I think if Paul was awake by the time this is done, you'd have rang him straight away as soon as it finishes.
I probably am going to.
Do you have any anxiety? Are you just normal?
I just breeze through life. Yeah, there's no point in like. Sometimes things might make me feel anxious, but I think, what's the point in feeling anxious about it? Or if something's happened and I think, well, I can't change that.
Did you have a good childhood?
Yeah, brilliant.
That's why. Must be nice. I'm learning that through, I've been going to therapy. I'm just telling everybody everything here. Sleep apnea, anxiety, therapy, and
holds in farts.
I'm trying this. I'm going to try a bit out on you guys, but this actually happened. So my therapist, she's so lovely. I've been with her now 7 months. And there was like 3 weeks where she wasn't able to do a thing. I was like, that's fine. I'll just have a mental breakdown by myself. And so then I go back in, and she's so lovely. She's probably in her 60s. And so I went, I never know how to start the sessions ever.
Yeah.
So I always go like, how are you? Like, I ask her, even though I'm paying. Like, so how are things? And she was like, wild.
Everything all right at home?
Yeah, but that's where I'm like, because I don't want to start. I'm like, okay, so this is what's going on. So I'm like, so are you good? How are things doing? And you'd think she would just go, yeah, fine, let's go to you now. But she went, oh, people don't usually ask that. Yeah, it's okay. I just had a bit of a skin cancer scare. Thank you. She goes, but I'm sure it's nothing. They've taken it away and they're just doing some tests. And I went, and now I'm supposed to tell you I get sad because there's no sun in the UK. Like, how the fuck? Like, what the hell? How is that supposed to work? Yeah.
Stop it.
She's coming in. It's actually stage 2. Well, my wife and I are really not vibing. Like, so just like, why couldn't she just have said nothing? Like,
I don't think she's trained, because I'm sorry,
she owns this.
You're not going to put a negative on someone that's coming to get things off
she's took her moment. She's gone.
She has.
She's took her shoes off. She's put her feet up. She gave him the clipboard, and she's like, "Do you know what?
I'm talking to you. I'm paying her to go. Listen, girl, you get well. You go home. Put the kettle on. I'm giving her hints.
I know a doctor. He's sexy in German. I'll introduce you.
He's my therapist. But yeah, do you know what I think it was? Is because going in there, she has a lot of clients. Like, she's genuinely brilliant. So it was just one of those things. And I actually told her about it after. I said, by the way, thank you for telling me that. And then she started laughing. She goes, oh, I shouldn't have shared that. I'm so sorry. But I think I have that ability. I think in stand-up, you have that as well, where you can bring walls down quick.
Yeah.
So as much as it's very always professional, there's sometimes like things will slip out. And she go, "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't do that." She goes, you and I get along really, really well. And she'll have other clients where, it's very
professional.
And I'll make jokes to her, and then she'll call me. She goes, "No, you're deflecting. Like we're trying to actually get to something, and you're kind of deflecting." Oh, okay. And but yeah, when she said that, I said that at the very end to it. I'm like, how embarrassed I was to tell you that, like, as a child, like sometimes when my mom yelled, it made me upset. And you're like, I'm thinking like, does she have cancer? Like, does she have? So yeah, I'm trying to think.
Well,
I think
fuck her, because she's not paying you, so you can talk about you.
Yeah, so I think that could be a funny bit to do on stage because it was wild. Yeah, it was so. And then every time now, I feel like if I could extend the bit, I have to ask her. So how's everything? Just had a friend's funeral this week, and I'm like, okay, yep. No. Every time it keeps getting worse and worse. Like, oh god. But I everybody should do therapy, even though that's
Aaron Wood was telling me I need to, because I met up with Aaron in a service station, because that's what you do when you're on the road. You're like, oh, you're at such and such, I'll meet you at such and such services. So he sat up there and he did that to me. He was like, how have you been? And I was like, well, I think I'm gonna die. I think I'm gonna have a stroke at any minute, and Michelle doesn't care. And after a bit he just went, I think you should go to therapy. And I went, why? He went, well, we've been in 90 minutes.
I actually said Aaron's one of the first people that I got along with when I moved here. And I remember, because I guess people in the UK, especially men, like don't like to talk about their feelings. So when you say, are you okay? They go, yeah, sound. And it's like, no, you're crying right now. You're not okay. So I remember saying it to Aaron. I think the more I was saying it, he was kind of like, oh, you're really open with your feelings. And I was like, dude, go to therapy. And he's like, oh, I was thinking about it. I don't know, like the cost of it. And I was like, just think, like, if you don't get a Mackey's every time you drive home, that's your thing.
Yeah, because it's like, the range in price though, but
like
I looked
40
at
to 50 pound. Yeah. So that's
40.
And it's the best. And you don't have to do it every week. I when I first started, because it sucks, because the first like 3 or 4, it's kind of like you're feeling it out, getting to know them. You're not really getting too deep. But it got to a point now where my therapist like calls me on my shit. She goes, no, that's you're just trying to be like, yeah, everything's fine.
Like it's a defense, though, isn't it? To reflect with humor.
Yeah,
I think that's how I got through. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say I was like ever like struggled with anything, but being funny was always my go-to defense mechanism for anything. Yeah. So even in awkward situations, like I always just trying to like think of something to get a laugh.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to be like, I'm the funny one, just to be like, just lighten the mood a little bit.
And then also, like, I don't know, were you like a big kid growing up as well?
I fluctuated a lot. So in primary school, yeah.
Okay.
And then high school was the golden years. That's where I could shop in Topshop.
Whoa.
And then I had kids, and I've just struggled with the baby weight since.
Okay, yeah, because I was really good at football when I was younger, which is wild.
I was going to say this. I shouldn't be, but I was really surprised when we played that football match. I was like, fucking hell, Kevin Finn he can touch him.
That's the first time I kicked a ball in 10 years.
Me, honest to God, I was like, wow, he's got a touch on him. Like,
and it was so, because again, remember, up here, it's still sharp.
Oh, yeah.
This is a disaster.
I play every week, 5-a-side. Up here, I think I'm like the foot. I still think I could get signed for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then the next morning when I'm like having to get out of bed in stages, I'm like, no, maybe not.
Do you know, after that charity game we played, your foot off on the side, not the metatarsal, but a bone in, like, and I played, I think, 10 minutes of the game. And there's like the bone beside the metatarsal, and it was called a cuboid. That's an actual bone, cuboid bone. And it's a bone that in your foot that like usually goes loose and you can move it around. It was so fucked for 3 weeks. Really? And I had to get like a ball to roll. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. I fell on the field. That's all I did. I fell on the field. Couldn't make a pass because my legs were like, no, we've never run in 10 years. So that's why I'm like, I just want to do free kicks and penos, because I'll do really good on that.
I'll do throw-ins, Spagsy on throw-ins.
That's what I'll do. So that like, but when I was young, like I was like, in Canada, I played for the provincial team. So how it works in Canada, there's provinces. The province of Ontario. It's almost like what would it be here?
Like counties.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like city. Or wouldn't
like
be
Cheshire.
like Cheshire.
and-
Yeah. So I played for the province of Ontario, which is like that's like the. So it was good, but I had so much anxiety, and my dad being fucking Scouse, so. Oh, it was awful. We'd be playing. So as a kid, I'd play this thing called House League. Do you know what House League is? Have you ever heard of that term? So House League would just be like amateur. So anybody could play it. There'd be co-ed as well. Women would be playing like. So I played that until I was like 7 or 8, right? And my dad thought it was the Champions League. And with Canadians.
As every Scouse dad does.
Yeah, but but at least it was Scouse dads. You're with other Scouse people and they get it. This is a Scouse man. He's bringing council state energy to like beautiful, like, how's it going? Like, is everything okay? We're just here to have fun. He would see there'd be like 6-year-olds picking, like a girl sat on the pitch picking daisies. You picking fucking daisies? And I'm like, oh my. And then the ref, who was like a 13-year-old kid getting paid to ref the game, would come over and sir, do you mind stop yelling? You're a fucking pinhead. He'd start yelling at the kid. And then all the Canadian parents would be like, yeah, that's good passion. I like. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. Yeah, he'd be calling them MEFs and everything, but they wouldn't know.
He didn't know what he's saying.
Yeah. So they're like,
fucking knobhead.
Yeah. So and he would say we'd be training at like 7-year-olds. He'd go, lads, if in doubt, fuck it out to a 7-year-old, and it's like, oh, the amount of time. And then
Just standard Saturday football in the UK.
My lad's played football for like since he was young.
Yeah,
and there's dads on the side of that pitch that are exactly like that.
But at least this is where it's you guys don't understand. Like I would be scared playing because like if it was that, at least you'd have plural dads in an English thing. Get it? Okay, passionate. I understand that. But mine was the only dad that was there
making any noise.
Yeah, because Canada at this time, it was only in the past 10 years that football has kind of become a thing in North America.
Yeah.
So like soccer was seen as like the off season for people playing hockey. So that was like, keep a little fit. Oh, get my daughter in there, playing, and there'd be kids like doing nothing, like dancing around. And so my dad was like, and I would take it serious, but I would be scared. And then at the end of every game, like I was scoring loads of goals. It was winning, but then there was times that we'd like lose terribly. And at the end, the other team would go, okay, 3 cheers for New Lowell. Hip hip hooray. My dad goes, stop it. We don't need it. They were terrible. And we're 7 going off the pitch. He's like, no, absolutely shite.
You should be ashamed.
Yeah, and then the coach is like, come on, buddy, it's for the kids. Fuck off. Fuck off. Like, it was nuts. So,
I really nearly became one of those dads.
Oh, God.
So when Ollie was about... So my eldest, he's 13 now, and he's like 6 foot. But when he was like, I reckon he was about 6 or 7, he went to this he got invited to a football birthday party. So basically, they go and have some food, they play a football match, they go back in and have some food, right? And he's there, and I was like, come on, mate. Just started off small, like, come on, mate. Go on. Fucking come on, Al. And then some kid, like tackled him. He goes over footy, he's rolling around on the floor, he's crying his eyes out. I was like, get up, son. You can't score when you sat down. And he's crying for the rest of the day, holding his arms and everything. He's like, oh, Daddy, my arms hurting. I was like, oh, shut up, you'll be fine.
You're that person. Yet you're here worried that you're having a fucking brain aneurysm. I'm scared of my health.
And then the next day, we get a phone call from the school, and they're like, we think you should pick up Oliver. I was like, why? They went, because his arms turned black. And I took him into A&E, and he fucking broke his arm.
This happened to me.
And I'm sat there going, so yeah, if you could just look here, you can see the break, like, where where it goes like up and out.
Oh, it wasn't like that yesterday, doctor. He must have slept on it funny, and it's just done it.
The woman, this is just the way she went, see the way it goes up and out? I went, yeah. She went, it's not meant to do that. I was like, and in my head, I just had that replay and going, you can't score while you're on the floor. I was like, I'm so sorry. We'll get McDonald's on the way home. I'm so
This must be a
scared.
This exact same thing happened to me. I was 10, okay? And this was in Canada. It was in the middle of the winter, snow 3 feet up. And I was on this huge snow mountain. And it was like, it was like this snow valley thing. They were doing like some caramel rolls. It was like a fair, but like a winter fair. So I'm on this snow hill. I jump off and I land, but as I land, there was like these wires and tubes at the bottom. So I landed and my foot landed straight and turned and snapped. But it was my 3 middle toes that and I was like, something went bad here. And I stood up and it was like the burning sharp pain. So I limp over to my dad, and my dad just always thought I was a soft shite. He said it to me all the time. I was like, Dad, I really think I did something to my feet. He goes, no, I'm not going anywhere. No, I'm here. Made me walk home. So I walked home like 40 minutes, and every step I was like, oh, and it got worse and worse and worse. I get home and my mom's like, oh, you can't, like, I'm not doing anything. That's ridiculous. Shouldn't be jumping off of snow hills. So my foot's up, and of course she gets paper towel. Wet
paper towel fixes everything.
Fling it on there. So I'm sitting there with like third degree like hypothermia on my foot. And so I'm sat there, ice burns, and then my dad comes home and he goes, oh, he's crying again, soft shot, like just humiliating me. 3 days. 3 days. And they thought I was putting this on for 3 days. Stop. Finally, my mom goes, I think, Tommy, we should take him to the hospital. He goes, okay. So go to the hospital. And the doctor's like, okay, so when did this happen? And my dad was like, yesterday. he goes, well, his bones are fusing. They were starting to heal like that. Oh, and my dad goes, well, not even sorry. Oh, sorry. Like, I thought it was funny. Wild. Yeah. Bones fusing. My mom's like, Jesus Christ almighty. Same thing I got in my kneecap. I was crawling outside. I was, again, probably around 10. And a golf tee went straight through my kneecap.
No,
I know. Yeah. A wooden golf tee. And I remember looking down, and I just thought like I'd knelt on it. It was just like I would just peel it off. But it had gone through. And so I went and I pulled it, and it was a wooden one. And I pulled it, and there was no blood or anything. And I saw there was a hole in my kneecap, and I was like, and so I try straighten my leg, and I couldn't straighten it. So I come in, and I'm like, Dad, something happened to my knee. Like I went on a golf tee, same thing, load of shit, soft shite. Take me in to get a CAT scan. Wood doesn't show up on CAT scans, which I didn't know. So they were like, yeah, there's nothing in his knee, like everything's fine. I guess it just something did that puncture it, but there's nothing in the knee. 3 weeks my knee was like that, and it was like fucking pus. It was like infected. It was bad.
Yeah,
I know.
I bet, yeah.
My dad grabbed my leg and jolted it.
No, we never.
Yes, we were in his friend. We went to his friend's little campsite thing, and he goes, get in the hot soap, and that'll solve it. Yeah, chemicals. Yeah, chemicals and this gross thing. He goes, let's see your knee, let's see your knee. I'm like, Dad, please. He goes, I'm not going to chew anything fucking foam. And a little splinter came out, and he pulled it, and there was that much of the other half of the golf tee in my kneecap. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was in there.
And was it fine afterwards?
Yeah, you can still.
So technically he was right.
Yeah, I can see your hole.
There's a little. Thank you. Thank you.
Sharon's caring.
Yeah. But I guess that's why I'm mentally ill. Because
that's why you go to therapy.
Yeah. But the hot tub did sort it out, though.
Yes, but fucking chemicals in my mom's the same. Any cuts or anything, she'll go into the sea. Go,
salt water.
Go into the sea.
That's disgusting. People dump shit in there, and like whales are jizzing everywhere. Sea lions are wanking.
Whales just playing Wet Biscuit. Come on, Willie.
Or you heard this thing with is it an English thing as well? Have the dog lick it. Have you ever heard that? Like, if you have a wound, have your dog lick it. Is that not a?
I've never heard of that or done that.
Okay. So maybe that was just either an Irish thing or like a.
I always thought, don't let the dog lick it was more like over. It's like, it's germs. Don't let the dog go anywhere.
Yeah, they lick their own willies and arseholes. Like, I don't want their tongue. I don't even let my dog lick my face.
So my mom, I don't know whether it's an Irish thing or just her and her family, would say any open wounds dog's saliva is like a healing thing. So I'd have wounds, licking it, and now I've done research. That's the worst thing you could do. It's like gross, licking their buttholes and everything. And so I'm surprised I'm still here.
I'm surprised you've not got sepsis.
I know. So that was they're all my weird injuries. Just golf tee in the kneecap, broken toes, and I haven't broken anything else. Have you guys broken?
I've never broken a bone.
You're so boring.
Never broken a bone.
I do feel like I'm boring because you always have really good stories, and I'm like, no, can't relate. It's never happened to me.
But
obviously,
you're funny, so what?
I've had a wet paper towel before in school. Like,
yeah.
I think.
Do you know
what the most painful?
Sad one. I feel left out. Oh, here we go.
Like if you fall over or you bump into a wall,
you
and
hold
it'd be
the
like,
wet paper towel.
I did. Cut me
bump
chin
into
open
a wall.
once.
Did you just hear that?
That's not what she said.
Yeah, I bumped into a wall.
I'll do that on a Tuesday.
Do you know what was really painful as a kid in school? I don't know if yous had the same, but do you remember the toilet paper from school? And it was like tracing paper, and you try and wipe your fanny. Well, obviously you didn't have a fanny, but you'd wipe your fanny
There's
or
no
your
judgment
arse
here.
with it, and it was like it was fucking tracing paper.
That's
I know
the
I'm a
worst
bit
part of
older
your.
than
That's the worst part of her fucking life.
Oh, have you ever tried
You had a
wiping your arse with a
sensitive-
fucking?
You had a
tracing
sensitive
paper?
fanny, and you had 1-ply toilet paper.
Yeah.
What a dream that would be.
No, sorry,
I
guys.
would trade my willy for a fanny to have that kind of life. Oh, but yes, I know what you're talking about. The toilet paper was
Yeah,
terrible.
you did have that too.
It was like that
I
one
love
ply.
you've clutched at a straw there.
Wait, did you guys ever have I'm telling you, knee, toes broken?
Sepsis.
Yeah.
I'm then talking about strokes and all that.
I sometimes got a rash when I wiped.
Do you
Anybody
have
else?
friction burn?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so boring.
Ever have like a cavity? You ever have a cavity?
Never had, the only tooth I've ever had removed was my wisdom tooth because it was too big, but I've never had any issues with my teeth or anything removed.
My
Car
wisdom-
accident?
or any no.
Fuck's sake.
You're trying to throw things out to make you more
trying,
fun.
don't you? Like,
I split my chin open once.
I'm surprised she's
And
not gone.
I nearly
bit my
missed
tongue
my school
once.
disco because of it. I was fucking fuming. I was like, Mum, you need to let me go to the school disco.
School
so I
disco-
managed.
Are you from the 70s? Like what's
Yeah,
going on?
it's
School
quite
disco.
old.
Is that a common thing here? It was school disco.
School disco every year. Yeah. You had school discos. Don't make out like I'm a fossil.
What year is that? School discos?
I
I've
swear to
never.
God.
I can understand maybe a school dance, but like, are we talking like little roller skates? And you're like, I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
No, like a dance. Yeah, it'd be a dance, not a disco. Like woo. But you just call it school disco.
What
So it'd just
songs
be all
would
like
be?
your Backstreet Boys, Boyzone,
Okay.
Bewitched,
We used to.
Little Wigfield or whatever.
Oh,
like-
Wigfield.
People of a certain age, they refer to parties as discos. What she means is a
Oh.
school party or a school dance.
Right, but it was called a school disco in the day. You went to a school disco. It wasn't called a school party in our days.
It wasn't mine.
I think even now it's still a school disco.
No one's said the word disco in about 45 years.
Well, whatever.
At your school discos, did
Yeah.
you guys like come? How did you guys like naughty dance back then? Like, did you like what did you do?
Did we naughty dance?
No,
I feel like it was all very innocent.
How old was you? Like,
Because I'm 93, so I was born in 1993.
I was born in 87, so I'm 30. I'm nearly 37.
Oh God, you okay?
Doing better than you two.
I'm weird the one's going. Oh my fucking god! Your back
You're a different generation.
I haven't stood up without going ugh for 10 years.
I've had a bad back for about 4 weeks.
I wonder if it's anything to do with this.
Probably.
But yeah, like my thing, I remember our school discos when I was like 16. That's when like it was like but Shawty got them apple bottom jeans,
Yeah.
like that
I
kind
was
of
in
music.
the club.
Oh, okay, yeah. But that's like in our school, and it was a Catholic school as well. Like they would do like grinding and stuff. Would that happen in your decade?
No. I don't feel like you could do dancing like that. It was Bewitched. I was just dancing around like an Irish jig person. That's what we
say I
did.
look like me
dad. Are you serious?
Imagine grinding. Well, I said, "Hey, girls," grinding on that.
Everything was dance routines, whether it was Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, like Spice Girls. There was a
911.
routine.
Oh,
I wasn't
too
big
soon.
on 911.
Oh wait, sorry.
Not the
Which one?
9/11.
Thank you.
Not the not that terrible time in
to be an
2001.
American. 911, is that a band?
That was a band. Yeah. What did they sing?
Oh, what a shitty name to have.
Take on me. Is that 911?
No,
That's
that was A1.
A1. That was A1.
Take on Me
Take
was
on
A1.
me.
Do you know what? They were a bit shit.
What years were they active?
Like
Like
90s.
early 90s.
Okay, so they weren't in 2001. Because that was.
No,
No,
it was-
I
it
think they were done back
I
in
reckon-
2000s.
yeah, it was
Can
like
you imagine like
96.
just starting to do well and it's like that happens?
They're not
Can't be like,
even,
We need a new band name. Why? Turn on the TV.
Here, do you remember this one?
Is this 911? No. See, you're not grinding in the school disco to this, are you?
You got my body shaking.
Who is your? Because obviously in North America it was NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Did you guys have? I guess yours was Westlife and Boyzone.
Westlife, yeah, I was more Westlife than
Boyzone.
Boyzone.
What is?
Yeah.
No matter
what they-
What band is that sings
That's
that?
Boyzone.
Boyzone.
So that I remember the first time my mom would play that all the time in Canada.
I loved Boyzone.
And so I had my first dance with my mom to that song because I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so
That's
lovely.
cute.
This would be so like a vibe thing." And this is just probably where I get some of my outrageous attention seeking from her, because I'm like, "Mom, I didn't tell her. I'm like, this will be a surprise," and she's gonna cry. She goes, this is lovely. And so we start like slow dancing. She goes, everything's nice. So like, and she starts like talking about different people. I'm like, can we just enjoy this right now? And she goes, well, I feel like it's kind of boring. Do you want to like spice it up? I said, Mom, I don't give a fuck what other people, this is for you and I. So she starts trying to throw me out and twirl me in, and I got really upset. I said, this is supposed to be for us. And she's making it a fucking, no matter what they tell us. I'm weeping, like spinning, like
I can't down.
I was so mad. I cut the song short. I said to the DJ, I went, yeah, fucking
Put the
done.
cha-cha slide.
Yeah, didn't talk to her for the rest of the night. She's going, dance, come on and dance. Oh, it was what we DJ'd our own wedding.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got, because I love, that's something, if I didn't want to do comedy, I think I'd love to do, because I love
DJing.
seeing, not to be like, oh, I'm a sexy DJ, but I just love hitting nostalgia and hitting people going, oh, I haven't heard this song in so long.
Yeah.
So our playlist, I had it on Spotify, and I had it set up. I sat with my wife, and I was like, okay, this is the whole night. It's 3 hours, whatever. Let's have a playlist that just runs. So we have our guest playlist. So I had all the songs set up, and I said, okay, now when it's the dance playlist, it started off with Michael Jackson. Come on, don't stop till you get enough.
Yeah.
So that was like the first thing, and then it kind of went all through the different things. So it went from like the 50s to the 70s to the 80s, and then I knew like when people were getting more drunk, that's when like the 90s stuff would be coming on.
Absolutely.
And then I got, this is any person listening, you have middle-aged white men or like white men that are 50 plus, put on Kiss. I wanna rock and roll all night.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Top off.
Oh, and party please get it up.
Every day.
It's
What's it called?
by Kiss. I wanna rock and roll all night. My tongue cramped because I was doing that. Like Gene Simmons, and everybody had little guitars that were. I took my cousin out of crutch and I took it, and I was, I was going wild.
I'm struggling here. Can't lie.
You don't know Kiss? This is like that Family Guy. Have you seen the Family Guy bit
No.
where they go to a Kiss concert and he hands the microphone to the mum in Family Guy? And she's like, I don't know this song.
Oh God.
This is that moment.
Everybody knows that
I've
song.
Found it. Rock and roll all night.
Yes. Oh. Come on.
Oh, that riff.
I don't know if I know
Fast
this.
forward it like 35 seconds.
Your mum will know this song.
Any white man who is balding, this is their jam. You can't. And then you do the.
Because in the music video, it's got these massive boots on doing it.
Yeah, the face painted.
Yeah.
And party every day.
I wanted to do for my tour show, I wanted to call it Rockstar, and I wanted to do the makeup like that.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah. And then I've still just got that in the back pocket for one day.
Yeah.
I'm literally just going to put and call it Rockstar.
That's a really good idea.
You can have it if you want.
You can take it.
You
It's
can
fine.
take
I can't believe you don't know that
I
song.
don't know that, and I do listen to a really wide range of
Her mum
music.
is like, it's dead mad because your music taste is very R&B,
Very R&B,
Okay.
hip hop,
and then her mum's like
bashment.
Metallica, Iron Maiden. Like,
I hate that
then-
music.
See, how it
I
doesn't
like
bother
that
me.
a little bit, but I don't.
I love that, and I love metal. I love, if it's got a guitar in it, I probably love it. Even like James Blunt. I'm like, I fucking love
Oh,
it.
come on.
You're beautiful.
I love that.
James, so are you.
I have the weird taste of music. Mine, I love crooners, like 40s, 50s, 60s. That's all I listen to in the car as I'm going to gigs
Oh,
and coming back.
really?
Love singing to them. Actually won a few competitions in Canada for singing Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra.
Really? Have you got
yeah,
proper? You got a set of lungs on you?
Yeah, but it's weird. I love doing comedy, but you can hide behind acting like you're not trying in comedy. With singing, you actually have to try.
You have to be able to.
And it's like, so it scares me. But karaoke, a few pints in me,
Oh, mate, I said to you that I was like, I would give if someone offered me right now to go, you have to give up comedy today.
Yeah.
But you can pick up a career as a musician, as a rock star. Wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like,
it's a different feeling. Like when I went to who did I go to that I was I went to see Peter Kay, and he blends the both. At the end, he always has like a music aspect.
Yeah.
And it's just a different feeling because comedy hits you in all the lovely places, you know, you do that. But there's something with music, it just hits everywhere. And it's like, I saw Paul McCartney actually in Canada, and it was like he did 3.5 hours.
He does, yeah.
And it was just like magical, that feeling.
Yeah.
And it almost makes me jealous. Like, even if you get to superstardom as a comedian, you would never have what that is.
Yeah. But it's weird though, because like I always think some musicians act like they'd love to be comedians. I think comedians would love to be rock stars. I would be, but I so like you know, for us very special Canadian guests, my favorite band's Nickelback, and
really
I fucking love.
Why did people hate? Did you watch the documentary about that on Netflix?
Yeah, I paid £15 to watch it, and then it came out on Netflix. I was gonna go to the cinema to watch it. The only reason I didn't because it was on my son's birthday.
Oh, you really love Nickelback.
Oh mate, I fucking love Nickelback.
I watched that and did not realize how many hits they had.
Oh mate,
but as a Canadian living in Canada, the reason why I think people hated them, it was played beyond like a joke.
You put a stat on that thing though. It was something like every 2.5 minutes Nickelback was played somewhere in the world.
It was, I don't remember on the radio. As a kid always being like, oh, put this song off. Like it was just always. So I think that's why they played it to death.
Yeah. And there's still songs like, what song was overplayed? And even now you're like, oh, this is good. Do you remember?
This ain't Texas.
That can fucking go in the bin.
Do you know what I used to hate as well? Adele's Rihanna, round and around and around and around we go. That, and then the Adele, hello from the other side. But now you're like, oh, it's great.
When you're in the car down the motorway, you can drop it. You can hit that note.
Oh, yeah.
Hello from the other side.
I almost fainted as I was driving here. I was singing, and I hit a big long note at the end, and I was like, I looked at my face in the rearview mirror, it was red, and I'm like, oh my God.
I've closed my eyes once. I'm like, oh shit. Propagate it.
I love a car concert.
I love it. But
love it, live for it.
I love seeing somebody singing in a car concert and almost kind of giving them a like.
I do not embarrass people because I'm like, trust me, I'm right behind. If anything, I'll do your backing vocals.
I went, Philippines is known like karaoke's a thing. Filipino people, I don't understand what is in the water there. Their voices are incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking of Journey, do you know the band Journey?
Yeah, Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah. So the guy Steve something. He was the original lead vocalist, incredible. Then he just was like, I'm done with this in the 90s, and they've replaced him with this little Filipino guy, and he sounds actually better than the old lead singer, who was one of the best singers ever. But I went there at Christmas, and you call aunts and uncles there Tito and Tita. So I was singing with them, and they all love all like the 70s stuff. So I was singing Bee Gees with them,
nice.
And we were doing 3-part harmonies, and it was like I got so excited because everybody, we were drinking and we were nobody knows much heaven no more, and we were all hitting the things. And I was like,
yeah, we want to see this later.
I'm going again this Christmas, so I want to film all the stuff we were singing. Yeah,
I love but what you were saying about Nickelback getting hate, but if you put like Rockstar on, every white man above a certain age will be like.
But why didn't? Because they, who are the Killers? I'm Mr. Brightside.
Yeah,
that was played so much. Why did they not get any kind of?
They do in really? Certain parts of Liverpool. Like
I
don't
like, listen to them, and I think it was so overplayed. And you go to certain student bars, and it'd just be that.
Yeah.
And all the
2007 for me is Mr. Brightside, Sex on Fire.
Yeah.
Like it just Teenage Dirtbag, even though that came out years before.
Yeah.
But that was their student playlist in every single student club. It was always Mr. Brightside, Sex on Fire for that whole year.
I don't. Now it's like a thing, especially in the UK.
I do a mashup of that.
But you see everybody doing that, going out of my kid. It's like it's like in to sing that at parties now.
Yeah,
It's like come back, right?
Yeah,
But Nickelback is, it's weird. I didn't realize how big they were, but like how it happened. And this is what with comedians, we see it all the time. A lot of people go, you came out of nowhere, but they were going like 10 years everywhere.
10-year
nothing.
overnight success.
Yeah, which is that, it's that whole thing about
he
the
is
iceberg.
so happy with this conversation right now, Kev, honestly. That's him. Done for the night now.
Chad, what's his name?
Kroger?
Kruger, yeah.
Fuck ugly though.
He's got better with age, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, he's had work done.
But though it's great, well, you would cream your pants, but like if they were to walk by me, I would not recognize them.
I'd faint. Is
that your like Michael Jackson? Like
that's my
your...
Michael Jackson. I genuinely reckon. I reckon with celebrities that I'd probably be quite cool. Like, all right, yeah, you know, I've been on gigs with a lot of people I'd call my comedy heroes.
Yeah,
and it's just sort of been like, oh yeah, cool. I think I'd faint if I met Nickelback. I genuinely think I'd faint.
Why do you think our podcast is called 5 Pence Change? Let's just have a little think about it.
that's so weird. I wouldn't see you as a
Oh mate, I fucking love. I went on my own, didn't I?
Yeah,
to the
you
show
did your solo
in
show.
May. Because no one else would come, so I went on my own.
When you said James Blunt, I'm like, this guy cries to James Blunt. Like, you look like a guy who loves James Blunt.
I like James Blunt music,
but it's just Nickelback. You just seem so kind for that.
Oh mate, I love it. I honestly, I think it's weird because like my mates who know me are like, he's a goth. I like
God.
heavy fucking music. Like, but so I think for me it was. I think this is where the obsession started. So Christmas.
Are you getting aroused here? What's going on? So excited about Nickelback.
I'm just trying to
go
see
ahead.
Put your pickleback.
No, it's just why I wanted to be a rock star. So I got a guitar for Christmas, and I didn't know how to play it. And you know, it's like when I was like 11, or I think I was 11. I must have been actually. And I got this guitar for Christmas, and like within like the first, I was like, oh my god, I got a guitar for Christmas, and then very quickly I was like, oh, I don't know how to play it. This is shit. And I just went to just put it down, and then, but that was the year that How You Remind Me was #1, and that was on Top of the Pops, and he was just sat there with his guitar, sucking, screaming out How You Remind Me. I was like, oh, I want to be like that when I'm older.
Well, he wasn't screaming out, was he? He was miming along to it. If it was Top of the
Is that the start of it?
Top of the Pops, probably. No, that's Saving Me.
What is it? Say what is that?
Prison gates won't open up for me. How weird that I got that.
Do you
whole
want to
fucking
sit on this
song.
couch with him and you can just
we
fucking
do a
fondle,
puddle?
like singing to each other's
Okay,
eyes?
this is how you heal when he's starting to have a panic attack. Just send him a Nickelback song.
No. Sometimes I'll put a
Brother, he
Nickelback.
died.
You know when I'm being nice, if I ever put a Nickelback song over like one of the pod's like Instagram stories,
that ever
I think,
happened?
yeah, I did it once on your birthday post.
Oh, fair. Didn't even know.
That Photograph song was very annoying.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone was like, "Ooh, every time.
What the hell is on Jody's head? Like, what is that?
I don't know.
That there's the one song that's really good. The I'm going to Belgium, going to home, live down. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about.
Say that again. Yeah, that was my walkout music for my show.
Really?
It's midnight then rock. That was my walk-on music for the show, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, it was.
my walk-on music was Burn It to the Ground. My walk-off was Rockstar.
Ew. Hey, I want to be a rock star.
Just putting it in there. Like,
What is that? What does it say? I'll have a quesadilla. What is that about?
apparently, so they got ZZ Top in, and the guy from like ZZ Top are cool.
She's
as
checked
fuck.
out.
I know,
Okay.
yeah, fucker.
You wish what?
we got so ZZ Top are cool as fuck, and they just like add it, and he was just like, do you just want to put some like little bits in here? And he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll think of something. And then when he did that, he just went, I'll have a quesadilla.
Weird.
Can you imagine though being in the like going, shit, we can't say no.
Yeah.
Because this is like a fucking ZZ Top.
Yeah, why did he say that? Did you guys have was Marilyn Manson big here?
There was a rumor that went round. Did you ever
I
hear that
already know what you're
rumor?
going to say.
Rib.
How wild that I know this. What you're
That
going to say?
rumor.
Rib.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah. And have we spoke about this?
I don't know if we've discussed it on the pod or in the car. But
That was
we can't
before
ever
internet.
differentiate.
That was before, yeah, and everyone's like, do you know Marilyn Manson?
He can suck his own ween.
And yeah, and I said, I was like, surely a guy of his status could just get anyone.
I know.
They just like, hey, do you want to come backstage?
Sucking it yourself. If I could do it myself, I'd be like,
I don't know.
Let's.
What's better? If I said I sucked my own dick 1,000 times, or I've had 1,000 blowjobs from 1,000 different women, which one sounds more impressive?
Sucking your own dick.
No, it doesn't. It's weird.
Yeah, it does.
If Kev turned around and went, one of my male talents, not many people know this about me, but I actually can perform self-fellatio.
I can't even tie my fucking shoe. I can't bend down to get that, so that would be a stretch. That's why I have slip-ons. I'm wearing them right now.
Straight in.
Oh God! Was he like seen as like a demon here as well?
Yeah, I feel like he was.
He was gothic.
What was that song that he did? And was he in a swimming pool,
Was
like
it Tainted
standing
Love?
out of it? Yeah, Tainted Love.
And then we are all stars now in the dope show. That was another one.
He was just odd. He was just always in my little magazines.
Sweet dreams are made of
Yeah, he did
these.
do that as well.
But he was out when all the first, now it's every other week in America, school shootings happen, and they would try blame it all on him. Where he was like, if you actually watch interviews of him, he's so smart, and he goes, "What I'm doing is I'm standing out for those kids that." Their parents are telling them they're stupid. This person's telling them they're stupid. They're being told they're out of place. I'm letting them know that they are okay, and I'm giving them a place right now.
Yeah.
So for you to think that I'm the reason why somebody is shooting up a school, or I'm not saying in my songs, go shoot up a school. Like he'll say something about like, fuck this, fuck that. I don't feel understood or whatever it is. But it's like, if you actually listen to his music, I'm not a fan at all, but like there's nothing in his music that's like bad.
Yeah, to try and...
Like compared to rap as well.
I think that's it is with quite a lot of things though. I think there's a lot of, because heavy metal got that brand in it. It's like, especially death metal and things like that. That'll make people want to do things like that. But
Slipknot,
yeah,
that kind of music scares me. Like that genuinely creeps me out. They're like,
does, yeah, but Corey Taylor did get voted, like he was like top 10 most attractive males, and that was with the mask on. Fun fact, yeah.
Oh.
So Corey Taylor, lead singer of Slipknot, had the mask on and got voted. I can't remember which magazine it was, but one of the top 10 most attractive males, and that was with his mask on.
Well,
because it was that, and then Korn. Remember Korn was like
another fucking hell, whatever.
They were
not for me. It's not for me.
Showing your age there. Not for me.
No. My mate always like, you love Slipknot, and I'm like, it's not that I hate Slipknot. I just like, I wouldn't go out my way to put it on.
We have anxiety. When I put that on, I get like,
oh no! See this. Try just singing along to it in the car. You feel
to Slipknot.
Yeah, you feel so much. You feel so much. You nearly pass out, but you feel so much better when you just get it off your chest more than anything. You just sit there and just go. Some of the songs are quite romantic.
I'd probably lose my voice if I tried to sing along.
Have you learned the guitar though? Since that's.
Yeah.
You know
I was in a band. I was in a band.
No big deal.
I was in a band. We were called City Light Desire.
City Light Desire.
Yeah. I didn't come up with that.
And do you have any did you have any original songs?
Yeah, I wrote them all.
Did you sing or what did you do?
Not in that band because believe this or not, I'm also quite self-conscious and insecure. And even though I love singing, even probably up until recently, I didn't want to sing in front of someone. There was one moment in my life, 2012, when I was like, I'm going to see if I can make a career out of it. And I don't know whether this is going to be a segue and a half. Fun fact that not many people know about me. I applied for Britain's Got Talent with my guitar, singing about it.
And did you get it on?
Are you messing?
I'm not messing. Yeah, I went on. I got through the. So when did you know you have the one of the producers, and there's like a guy sat there with a video camera, not even fucking looking up at you.
I got very lucky. I was right on the stage.
Oh right, okay. Sorry, I had to go through a lot of producers. So I went for me. Like I applied online, and I got the little thing to go to Liverpool, and then you're fucking literally just waiting around all day with my guitar and all that. And then there was this, like, I remember him. He looked like Kingpin. Joe Kingpin from like the Marvel comics, like bald-headed guy, just like moody as fuck and all that. And he was just sat at this desk, and I was like, "Hey mate, you all right?" And he was like, "Yeah." "What's your name?" And I was like, "It's John." And he was like,
"You sounded like that then?"
"Yes, John." Yeah. Sounded like Kermit the Frog. And he was like, "What you here for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sing a song." And he's like, "Right, okay, what song are you gonna sing?" And it's when I sang Adele, Rolling in the Deep. Right.
Oh God.
I know.
You
right?
kind of look like her. I'm joking. She looks great now.
Fat down, not now.
I get that
21-year-old.
I always get Jonah Hill. That's the one lookalike I get. I was like, and I said it to someone. When I say it to people, I expected them to go nah. And I said it to someone the other day. Oh, it was when I was in Glasgow gigging, and we were talking about lookalikes.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I get Jonah Hill," and the guy went, "Oh, that's who it is." I was like, "For fuck's sake!"
Oh God.
So. So then, and he didn't look up at me once the whole time, and he had this like little video camera in the corner. He was like, "That's getting filmed. It'll get sent off for people to watch whenever you're ready." Didn't look at me the whole time, and I was fucking like a bit thingy because I'd never sang in front of people before. So I was like, "Fuck it," and I just went for it. And as I started singing, he just looked up. And he was like, and then because on the message it was like, if you're singing a song, just sing 40 seconds of it, something like that. So I literally just practiced the 40 seconds in and then stopped, and he just went, "Keep going." And I was like, "I don't know the rest of the song." Oh. I was like, he went, "Have you got any other songs?" And I was like, yeah. He was like, "Sing another one." So I did another song, can't remember which one it was. I think one was Chris Daltrey, if you know him.
Yep.
Yeah.
From American Idol.
Yeah. I think one of his was his songs. Love his music, and very stadium rock guy.
Yeah. Cowboy hat.
Yeah, I fucking love it. And then he was like, "Oh, do you like tell me about your music background and all that?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah, I started learning guitar when I was like 14. Always wanted to be in always wanted to be a rock star. Always wanted to write my own songs." He was like, "Oh yeah, sing me one of them now." And I was like, "Oh fucking hell." And at that time, I wrote this song because I do that and I keep them to myself.
Yeah.
And I was like,
hate my mom.
yeah,
She's a fucking bitch. Tonight that I will fall for you.
Oh, was that an actual song?
Yeah.
Over and again. You know nothing.
So do I fucking come today.
Literally, like, mate, 2009, like, that was like peak all-time low era. Like, that's
My Chemical Romance.
Oh, man. And I was singing. And so I sang my own song, and he was like, good. Right, okay, this is what's going to happen now. See that guy over there?
Strip.
He was like, he's going to get a camera, he's going to follow you around the building. He'll probably have you walking in and out of things and just like fucking videoing you, talking about things. And then I was like, "Oh, okay. And then, so this guy follows me with the camera, and he's like, "You just do us a favour, you just get your guitar out of the case, just walk down this corridor." And I was like, "Okay." And I did it. He was like, "Yeah, can we do that again?" I was like, "I fucking walked wrong." I got my steps in. I went up and down a few times. And then he filmed all this stuff, and then he was like, "Can't tell you if you've got through. I'm not allowed to tell you at this point because it gets reviewed, but so want to be in touch." That's all it was. And then I got invited to go to the one where like Simon Cowell and that was, and I convinced myself that they put me through as one of those novelty acts. I didn't go.
Oh, you said no?
I didn't go. In my head, I was like, "Nah, they just want me to. They want me to. They think I'm shit
to be the joke."
Do you know? Because
but even if you were good, I'm so glad you didn't go. From my experience, because it's the worst. Hi, Kevin Finn, failed BGC contestant. Oh,
do you mind talking about it?
Yeah, I don't care. This is the first time.
You're not on a non-disclosure.
Just weeping by the end of it.
We won't charge you for this session either.
Yeah. Don't worry, I fucking
but
pay
please
for
know that
people.
we are currently being tested for cancer, so you can
it
think
was.
about that.
They were trying to get me for about 4 years
to go on.
They were going to fly me last year from Canada to London to do the live audition. And I kept saying no, and then I would ask a few people, they're like, "Yeah, don't do it." And then I moved here, and then they were after me again, and I straight out was like, "No, I'm not doing it." And then I knew a few comics here, and I asked them, and they were like, "It's not a good idea." And I was like, "Yeah, so I'm not going to do it." And then it was February of this year, I got a message from an agent who like does a lot of like all the BGT stuff, and he's like, "Hey Kev, I know you've declined a lot of like offers." He goes, I've been contacted by the head of talent and production for BGC, and he specifically wants you to come do it. He's like, I've never kind of seen that kind of interest. So, of course, I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah, just trying to stroke my ego. And so this is on the Wednesday. Said the last auditions, they've done all the London auditions. The last audition is this Sunday. Would you just come down and do it? And I was like, I don't think so. And he's like, I really think you should. And I said, okay, I'll do the audition, but if it goes tits up, gentleman's agreement, we don't show it. And he goes, let me get back to you with that. Talk to this main producer. And he said, yep, absolutely, that's fine. We just want him to come down and do it. So I was like, okay. And I was like, I couldn't be asked. I don't care what happens, whatever. This is such a silly thing. The idea that I can perform in front of 2,000 people is really cool. Let's see what happens. So I send in, they're like, can you send in what you're going to say? So I send in a script of what I'm going to say. And they're like, oh, can you change this? Can you change that? And I went, nope, which I should have done in the semifinal. And I went, nope. And they said, well, I don't know if they're going to put you through. And I literally was like, okay, then I won't do it, which I don't know why I didn't keep that same energy for the semifinal.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we really want you if you can just shorten that and cut that out. And I said, okay, this is what I'll do. I will cut this one thing out. I wrote it back very matter of fact. I said, I'll cut this one thing out. I'll send you a voice note of me saying it so you can actually hear it, not the written thing. And we'll go from there. And they went, okay. So I sent it to this agent guy and he goes, okay, they're okay with that. And I was like, okay. I said, I'm not changing anything else. They said, okay, fine. So I get there on the Sunday at like 10 a.m. I was kind of like, I was a little nervous, but I was like, whatever. Then I go in and I see, and they did 2 different auditions. So they did a 3 o'clock audition that ran from 3 to 6, and then I had a break, and then I had a 7:30 till 10, that second part of the audition.
Yeah.
So I go in at the 3 o'clock, and I look, and I'm like, oh my God, there's Simon Cowell. And I'm like, this is wild seeing it. And then I was like, okay. And then it kind of set in, and then I was like, I don't really care. I was still in that mindset. I'm like, this means nothing. I'm not allowed to swear. This is not what I do. I want to go. I said, hopefully I'll get some laughs. My biggest nerve was getting buzzed by Simon, which happened.
Did he buzz?
In the semis, yeah, I did.
What a prick.
It was terrible. So I go on, and I said before going on, I'm like, can I request that before I start, like I don't do the talk thing? Because that's so weird to talk and then go, okay, so how's everybody doing tonight? Like it's weird to do.
It's easy to just go into it.
One of the things I've always thought, like, with watching the show, is that it's like they go, my name's John, I'm from here, I've been doing comedy.
You sound like that all the time.
That's my go-to, like, default fucking thing. You're right, yeah.
It's either that or Indian.
and then you've got to like do that again. I basically hi guys, I
switch on.
Yeah.
So they were like, we kind of do that. And I said, my big thing is, I know they're going to ask where I'm from, and I know they're going to ask if I'm American, and that's the big part of my starting of my thing is like, I know what you guys think, now they're American. And so they said, well, just kind of banter with it. And I was like, okay, still like whatever. So I go out. They didn't show any of this. They cut it out, but I go out and I come out and I'm like, hi, how's it going? And Simon's like, hi, so what's your name? And I was like, oh, my name's Kevin. I'm 30 years old. I live in Warrington. He's like, is that an American accent I detect? And I went, I said, why don't we wait for my set there, Simon? I got a little sassy with him, and he kind of dropped his pen and did this to me. And I was like, oh my God, I got sassy with him. And I went, or not. I said, you look very handsome today, Simon. Love your hair. Your chest looks great. And the audience went, whoa, like they laughed at that. And I was like, okay. And he goes, right, okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead. So I started off with my Freddie Mercury, hey-oh, and it was like, boom. So I had them right there. And then I did, what I did. So I did that, and then I go, I look like the little kid from the Disney movie. And it kind of got like it was kind of, the audience were kind of like, it was like, I hit a thing, and it was like on a knife edge. I'm like, ooh, this could go really bad or really good. And something in me went, just fuck it. And I just went, and it went really, really good. Yeah. So they cut out loads of stuff. In my actual audition, they showed all the stuff that actually got the least amount of laughs. The stuff that they cut out, I had like applause breaks. It was like incredible. I was supposed to do 4 minutes. I did 8.5, but it was I brought in maybe 4.5 minutes, but I had like big applause breaks. I had a little sassy improv thing with somebody else. So I did the whole thing, finished it off, and then got like a big standing ovation. It was like, it was wild. And then I was kind of like, oh, this is pretty big. Yeah, I was like, wow. All right. And then they were like, yeah, that was fantastic. And I said, oh, thank you so. And I was still, you can even see, I'm like, thank you very much. Like, because in my head, I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Like this is kind of wild. And I just said, I was just so comfortable and I felt very on. And so when I came back, they're like, okay, now we're going to have you meet with your wife, like the meetup that you had. And so they go to do the meetup, which they didn't show, as if like we were getting married again and like it was the reveal. And so they're like, okay, so Kevin, you walk out, and Alyssa, you start walking now. And I went, baby girl, I did it. And I like ran towards them like, can we do it again, serious? And I was like, no. I said, that's funny. And they were like, okay, so of course they didn't show that. So I go home and I was like, okay, that went really well. There was the other comic that actually got to the final, Alex, who was on the same day that I auditioned. He went before me and he had the thing where he called, Simon called his mom, and he has autism, Tourette's, and he's a gay man. I love you, Alex. He knows all this. I've said to him, like, you're the wet dream for BGT. Like, they love you. But he's also very funny. So he went and he did that, and so then I went on, did that thing. So then I didn't hear, and then Alex heard back after like 2 weeks that he was on.
On the live?
On the semifinal, like the live. And I was like, oh, so what happens is they say yes to, they see about 1,000 people. So there's like thousands that apply for it, thousands that go through like what you did, and then there's about 1,000 that actually get seen on the auditions. Like, but then they whittle that down, and only 40 people go to the semifinal. And they gave out 9 golden buzzers that year, so that means only 31 go through to the semifinal, because those 9 that got golden buzzers went right through. So I was like, oh, and then I was talking to this agent. And he's like, yeah, I think because you're branched into the foreign, like you're not a British citizen, even though you are. So I was like, okay. So then I forgot about it. I'm like, I guess it's done. And then I get a call in April, like mid-April, which they told us they were going to call me mid-March. Calling mid-April, they're like, yeah, do you want to come and do the semifinal? And I was like, oh, okay. So I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I'm like, can I say, when I go into the Apollo, like, can I come off the top and go, hey guys, how's it going? Let them know again I'm Canadian. No, you did that for your audition, so just go right in. We want you to do London stuff. We want you to make fun of like the London crowd. And in my head, I was like, I don't know if they like that. So they're like, yeah, just try do it. So I sent in an initial script, and they were like, yeah, we love that. That's great. So I was like, great. I was like, these are bits that I know have worked. It's going to be so much fun. There's a few little sassy things off the top, and then it gets into my northern stuff. I'm like, love this. And then it came to a few weeks before, and they're like, actually, we want to do London stuff off the top. And I was like, oh, but I thought we were okay with this script that I initially had. Yeah. No, we want, like, maybe if you do some sort of London stuff. So I was like, okay. So I, like, pitched, like, my first thought of a London thing, and they all were like, oh, yeah, we love that. That's fantastic. And I didn't realize that they were just yes-manning me. So I did a bit about, like, how the London accents are so weird, and there's so many different regional accents. Even in London, you get on the tube a few stops away, it sounds like you're in a different country. And then I made fun of like the posh London. I said, these people sound like they're afraid of their own farts. And which you'd think would get like a polite chuckle. It got silence when I said that. I went, we got this RP posh accent. Do you think these people to me sound like they'd be frightened of their own farts? 0. And when that happened, I went, ooh, in my head. And then I went, I did like a little act out, and I did like a little fart, and I went, oh my giddy aunt, was that me? Oh, I said, a bit of wind passed betwixt my cheeklets. Silence. And I was like, okay. And then I went, and then we got these Cockney people, and I said that, and one audience member went, no. As I said it. Yeah. So it was silent this whole time. And at that point, I was like, I'm bombing in front of 7 million people. So then I did my Cockney. I said, these people sound like they're choking on their own throats. And I went, this shit goes at the end of the day. And it got like silence again. And at that point I was like, so then I was like, I blanked. And then I randomly said Barnsley, which has nothing to do with what I was going to say. Because I blanked and I went, yes. And then we got Barnsley. And then I remember saying that and be like, why am I saying Barnsley? And then I went into my northern stuff. And right as I went into my northern stuff, I did this whole thing about like strip clubs when I made it like more PC. And the upper deck of the sorry, I'm talking so much.
No, I'm so engrossed in
the
this story.
upper deck. So there's 2 levels of the Apollo. So the upper deck was all the general public, and the lower deck was all the people that were there that night. It was their friends and family. So each person on the lower deck, so there's about 1,000 on the lower and about 1,500 on the upper. Out of that 1,000, I had my wife there. Every other person had like 200 or 300 people. Yeah. But me, I was like, I didn't even want, like I had tickets to give away, but I was like, I'll just bring my wife, because if it does go bad, which I didn't think it would, I was like, I just love to just go back with my wife. I like to keep really grounded. Just go back and have a burrito or something and be fine. So every other act that went on, right as they stood on stage, they had like, wow. Yeah. And Simon has always said, I base it off the audience, hearing what they're saying. So that was bringing electricity. That's not to say, like, I did shit off the top, but just as I was doing well in my northern stuff, and I could hear the upper going, and I'm like, okay, I have this. And once I hit my blow line of like, oh, if it was Blackpool, and I go right, next up we got Debbie. And I knew that would do well. So I went, next up we got Debbie. That got my first pop. Just as I go my second one, Simon buzzed me. Just as I was getting it, and I had my Scouse thing at the end.
Yeah.
And you guys have seen that.
I've
That's
seen
not me.
that
like
kill. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, I could win this, but I'm not going to go through, but at least that won't be a shambles. Like, at least I can finish things and go, started rough, guys, but we ended off pretty strong. And I'd been fine with that. He hit me right on my second beat of my Blackpool thing, and the audience started going, boo.
At him?
At him.
Yeah. But
they weren't listening to what I was saying.
Yeah.
So by the time I finished that joke and started my Scouse thing, they didn't hear the setup.
Yeah. This is the.
But I had to keep going because they kept saying, time, you got to time, it has to be timed, it has to be in that, or else we'll cut things and we won't be able to do it. Also, we did 3 different dress rehearsals before the show. So the day of the show, at 6 a.m. I woke up and I did This Morning in the show,
TV show,
which went so great.
Was that pre or
was that the one
post
with
Philip
Josie?
Schofield? that was after. That was years ago.
Can't remember.
That's the one with Josie. Yeah, she was on there.
Yeah.
So I went on there at like 6:30 in the morning and like had a blast. I went really well. I had lots of people messaging me, be like, "Oh wow, like this was so much fun." And I was like, "I'm feeling good here." I had them giggling. I was like, "Great." So then I get to the Apollo. We get dressed up. Everything. So this day was from 6 till 2 o'clock at night. 6 in the morning till 2 at night. So we do 3 separate dress rehearsals. One just by ourselves. Second one with Ant and Deck there. Third one full dress. You have it, another dress rehearsal. Each time I did dress, they kept cutting lines out of my set. You can't say that. You can't say that. You have to take this word out. So as you know, as a comic,
as well.
You've been rehearsing day in, day out to what you've
and you're
put forward to
rehearsing,
them.
and I think you do this as well. You make it look not rehearsed, even though it is. You make it look conversational, as if you're just thought of that. Like, so when you're cutting those out, you're kind of going, "Oh, I have to skip that word."
In your you've already done that. You've already cut out all the fat.
Yeah.
A good set, you've cut out all the words that don't need to be there.
Yes.
Like, and if you get to a point where it's like, if you cut more words out, it doesn't work.
And there's no punch to it.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a bit of a ramp tension and then the release, right?
Especially if you've got one of those, like, so say, for example, in my bit, I that Tatiana.
Yeah.
When it literally, there's a whole bit, and I get a laugh by saying Tatiana. I go, Tatiana. If they said, no, don't just don't say the name, or say the name something else, it doesn't work. Yeah. The Jasper joke, different name, it doesn't work.
See, that's the fine margins, right? And these producers didn't realize, so they said I couldn't say tingly. That was a word that I had to take out.
Tingly?
They said that it's
Is it offensive?
It offends me with my face.
It's coming along sexual if I said tingly, because I said, "Ooh, we're feeling a little tingly right now," and that's very on brand with me. Be like, "Ooh, a little sassy, a little tingly," and they were like, "No, you can't say that." They said I couldn't say quilt or little sweat for Scouser.
You quilt.
Listen, you little quilt, you little sweat. Yeah, you can't say those. And
Why
I'm like,
though?
They said it seems a bit too aggressive, and it could come across, which I don't. Is
you
quilt
say
like?
Something? Have you been to Liverpool, mate? A quilt is very like fucking bottom of the pile of offensive words.
Yes, exactly.
So quilt is, if you got called a quilt, you might, oh well.
Yeah. Or a sweat.
Yeah. Like, I'd rather be a quilt than a grass.
Yeah, exactly. So they said, yeah, you can't say that. So I'm going, okay. So my whole thing where I'm doing my Pingu thing, as the dad yelling, I can't say anything. So I was just, and I realized I still haven't watched it because it's so traumatic. So after this dress rehearsal, I'm sat there, I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. I was like, but fine. I said, I was kind of I'd never said those 2 London jokes ever on stage because I'd wrote them a week before and I had to go up and I had other things planned, so I wasn't even able to squeeze sets in.
Let's try them out.
But they kept going like, oh no, we love it. And it was like, and I was like, I remember saying them being like, they're not really that funny. And I said, mate, I can sell them funny, but they're not. There's not much behind it. But then I did my dress rehearsal, and Ant and Deck were laughing at a lot of my stuff. So I was like, okay. I was like, even if the London stuff go a little whatever, I know this Blackpool thing and this Scouse thing, like they've been my like that Blackpool thing was a newer bit, but it was like one of these things. It was one of my favorite bits at the time. I'm like, I was loving doing it. So I go up and I do it, and it was just so ass. Right when I walked up, and they also, they wanted me to walk through the audience, and I was like, no, can I not just come through the screens? Like it open and I come through the screens. Like I'm not doing like a cabaret flip show. Like I don't know what that is. No, we want you to be something different. So you go through, and you should have seen what they had in the background for me before. That was it toned down. Like they had this in the background where it was my face, but all these, they had people in a queue. Well, British people queue. They had Greggs. Well, people in Britain love Greggs. They had cups of tea, like generic things that Britain. I was like, what is this? Well, you talk about Britain stuff, so it's all British stuff in the background, but it was like a clusterfuck of stuff. I'm like, I'm going to be saying words, and people are going to go, what's in the back there? They're not even listening to me.
Yeah. And as an audience, you'd be going, he didn't mention Greg, so why is Greg's on there?
Exactly. And I said that to the girl who was doing it, and she's like, I've been doing this for 10 years. I know. And so there was just so much that I eventually just kept going, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Now I would rather them be like, he's very difficult to work with, but put on a show that people are like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
Than just yes and go, yeah. So that is a very valuable thing I learned from this. I don't care if somebody thinks I'm difficult to work with, because I know I want to give the people the funniest time.
You've got to stay true to you, rather than letting people who don't work in comedy tell you how to do your set.
I think it's in my childhood and stuff, I've always tried to just always please people and make people feel safe and comfortable. And I'm very brash on different things, but like you see, I'm very insecure, and I make sure, is everything okay? Like I'm always like that with people, and I want to make the vibe good. So I didn't want to come across, even though I should have been like, this is my moment to be shown.
I want it this way.
Yeah, so I should have went, fuck all you. So I learned that the hard way. So
that's that industry though, isn't it? The whole industry, especially TV and how many musicians get fucked over? Like, who's the girl? Hayley Williams from Paramore got signed at what? Was she like 13, 14?
Hear about Kesha as well. Kesha got messed over as well.
Even like Taylor Swift, I know she's a huge artist now, but got fucked over with the music because they literally go, you want to be a big star, don't you? Well, do what the fuck I know. Say.
So that happened. So then they're like, oh, no, you walk through the audience. So I went, okay, fine. And I had a song now I can't even listen to it because it triggers me, but I loved it so much. It was, I've put it out of my mind so deeply. But I remember listening to it. I was walking. I'm like, this sets me up so good, especially after my VT. It was, absolutely forget it. It was, it's gone. I buried it so deeply.
Literally. Oh, really?
Yeah, like literally. And I would listen to it on repeat. It was such a funny, silly, sassy, like 80s song.
Yeah.
It was almost in the same vibe of like, I'm in the mood for dancing. He wakes up in the morning and out of bed. My baby takes the morning train. He goes from and I did like a little sassy, and I was like, this is so good for me walking up after my VT, which I'll tell you that went tits up. So I'm stood in the audience, and they're like, okay, Kevin, you're going to be on. VT is showing. So I'm stood in the audience, my heart's pounding. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be fine. This VT is another billboard of what I'm doing. So I filmed the VT 2 weeks earlier. I wrote it out. I was so excited. I played, because it's only 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. They were like, we want you to film, because they kept trying to push for a story.
Yeah.
Did anything bad happen in your life? Why did you move what happened to your dad? And I said, I'm not telling you any of that. Yeah. Because I want to be known as a guy who's funny.
Yeah.
Which I fucking wish I did tell them my story, because I would have done well.
I had a wet paper towel on my broken toes.
And a golf tee in my kneecap.
I'm going to hold in my knee and fused feet. Come on.
I had a sassy German man tell me I have a thick neck.
How are you alive?
So they were like, yeah, we want to tell you a story and go to your local pub and have the people tell you, how we think he's a really good guy. And I said, no. I said, what I want to do is I'll play the people in my local, and they're all taking the piss out of me. And they were like, okay. I said, just trust me with this. So I played a sassy Essex bartender. I had like this leopard skin, like skin tight thing, and I had this makeup and this little bob. And I had me walking in, and I filmed it. It was like, I saw you last night at BGT. I said, oh, where's Simon? I fancy him. Where's he? And I went, it's just me, Marie. I'm just in for a pint. Great. Boring Kev. And it was a really quick cut of that. And then it went to me as a Scottish guy working at a Tesco, and I blacked out my tooth, so it looked like I was missing a tooth. And before I walk into the Tesco, I went, I went, since I'm in the semifinal, I've been slimming down for the semifinal, being on TV. I'm trying to look my best. And I go in and I go, hey, Frankie, how's it going? I turn around and went, hey, Kevin. I had like this silly wig on. I said, is it the daily usual family-sized chocolate bar, sleeve of Becky's, gallon of milk? And I went, no, I'm not doing that. Don't be silly. I said, I'm slimming down. And I start laughing. Oh, my God. And I go, I'm on BGD. Oh, you're serious? Okay, well, best of luck. And then I said something like, low fats on the side. And then I played my nan heckling me, and I filmed it at Frog and Bucket, and I go on stage and I go, all right, how's everybody doing tonight? I said, quit all this waffling bargain hunt, son. You look like a bloated Jason Manford. And it was like a quick thing like that. And I went, Nan? And I said, oh, and I said something else about like getting home for tea. And it was just a quick thing. And then I played a Mancunian walking my dog. And I went, you all right, mate? And I went, yeah, I think I'm all right. Why is something wrong? And he went, right, sound. I said, I don't hear sound, because I was in like that. And I went, all right, and like walked off. So it was all quick things, as me confused.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that will show that I'm the butt of the joke here. That shows that I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Standing in the audience, thing comes down. They take this B-roll that they filmed throughout the first part of the day, where I was just kind of walking around, spliced interviews that I did 3 months earlier in my first audition, where they were asking me questions. And what does your wife think of this? And I said, I was like, well, I love my wife, but she doesn't love me. And they would put, well, I love my wife. And they cut out, she doesn't love me. And they put that and spliced it together with all these different things I've jumbled up. So it played together of, and like I did an interview on the couch the day of, like when I was filming the VT. They're like, so this is just like background stuff, just hearing stuff about you, but then we'll get on to filming all your like characters. And that was me being like, yeah, you know what? I like hearing, being here. I feel understood, even though I can't understand anybody. And they would cut those jokes out at the end and just say, I like being here. I feel understood. Cut out my punch at the end. So that was all played with me walking around in B-roll, smiling, looking at fucking trees. And so I'm watching this, I'm going, okay, where's my characters here? Where's my characters? And then they show me walking up on stage at Frog and Bucket and going, all right, how's everybody doing tonight? And then it cuts to me as a B-roll. The audience are really loving what I'm doing here in the UK. Like this other thing that they cut, like this other B-roll.
Yeah, just like nothing that
No, so it made it look like I'm thriving in the UK, and I'm a humble little boy here, and I love my wife, and I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. And so I'm watching this, I'm going, that's not fucking me. There's no laughs, nothing's happening. And I was like, okay, so the blood drains out of me. I'm like, that, and I had to go, okay, get that out of my mind, even though that pisses me off. I have to get that out of my mind because I have to perform. And then when I went up and then that happened, that shook me as well. And it was just so frustrating, so hurtful, because I placed myself, as we all do, to a very high standard. So if I do like a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10, to other people, they'd be like, oh, that was really good. But I'm like, that was terrible. Like, I hated it, right?
It does that all the time.
Yeah, I know you and I are very similar with that, right?
Like,
most comics are.
Yeah, the good ones.
Yeah. So it finishes, and I already had it in my mind, a thing that I was going to do if it went good, and I think it was going to do so funny. The woman that went right before me, she was this 4'8" Mexican lady, and she had fibromyalgia all over her body. Okay, well, she had fibromyalgia, and she made it known that this is her last time performing. And if she gets to the final, that will be her last time. But if she's out by this is her last time, because her body's in severe pain. So what I was going to say is, if it went well, and Ant and Deck, they come over, right, Kev, like, how's it, like, fucking Scottish, how's it going? I was going to go, it was tough. Marie took my set. I was going to do exactly what she was doing, but I had to change it last second and do what I was going to, because she was doing acrobats. She was up in the air on a spin. So I was going to say, I had that all sorted, but she took it last second without telling me. So I had to come up with a comedy routine, which is cutesy, whatever. But they came over and I was like dead. And they're like, Kev, how's it going? And I was like, yeah, all right. Like, I was just like done. And the one thing that I don't know where it came from, but I'm very pleased, something deep inside me, I just turned and I said, well, I had fun, even though I did not. And I think that kind of redeemed something. I don't know what it was, because I was very like that. And then I just went, stop being a soft shite. And I turned, I went, well, I had fun, even though I was like, this is the worst. So I get off stage. I was like, can I stand outside? Because I feel like I'm going to faint. Because like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And genuinely was. And I actually said this to my wife. I found out, so my dad passed away when I was 13. And it was like a tragic death that what happened.
I'm sorry, man.
He fell and hit his head, and it was like out of nowhere. That's how he passed away. And that felt as tragic as when I found out what happened, because it was going from me holding a high standard, and I was very lucky the time that I was being here, and I was building up lots of momentum, and for that to happen felt so cruel, like in front of people, like that many people. You know, if you bomb in front of 40 people, you're like, I hate myself.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine doing that in front of 7 million people.
I think the fact, though, as well, that they approached you. You didn't put your application in and be like, yeah, I want to do it. Like,
but then I
were
hated
on
it
your
because,
back for months and
but
months
then
and months. And then
I got caught in the trap when I got in the semifinals. Like, I really want this now, which is stupid.
Yeah.
So then I go outside and I'm standing there, and I remember my ears were ringing, and I'm like, what happened? I was like, I kept being like, what happened? And then the funniest thing is this, like, the psychiatrist that was there all day, I guess the like director guy who was like bringing me through went in and was like, you need to go see Kevin right now, because I was like, and she comes out and she was like, real gravelly like London. She goes, the worst thing ever. She comes over and she goes, right, Kev, so what you did, okay? I was like, yeah, are you Jason Statham? She goes, yeah.
You sound like Phil Mitchell.
She goes, listen,
sort him out.
Callum Scott was on last night. We all know Callum Scott, multi-millionaire, on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
He was on last night as a guest host. He did terrible as well. As well.
You could have just left it there.
Yeah,
He did terrible.
Nearly chopped her. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, Callum Scott, the guy who doesn't need this, and the guy who has a career, and everybody knows he's very talented. This is my first time people are ever seeing me. And that's what happened. I went, okay. And she goes, take your phone, give it to your wife. Don't look at any messages. And I'm like, okay, now that's making me feel even worse, because that's like, I'm going to get bombarded. Will say that was a great thing that happened, because I gave it to her, and I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Did you get messages?
Yeah.
Because I know people can be cruel.
Yeah, there is some stuff happened that really, really hurt me, and I won't say who it was and what happened.
Just names and address, I'll sort it out.
But
I'll send Michelle.
There was 2 or 3 people that had booked me for stuff and had sent me messages, and I remember reading their thing and be like, oh, I'll get back to you, and unsent for me to do the shows, and they'd seen me kill and perform and do really well in shows.
Really?
And they had tried to book me for shows, and after the semifinal they unsent it and ghosted me. And that really that hurt even more, because I'm like, you've seen me do shows. You've seen me do really well. Like, that's
and it's
so
a totally
hurtful.
Different set in a comedy club
I know.
To TV that is so orchestrated.
To be fair, if that's people's mentality, I wouldn't want to work with them anyway.
But that I got very, very jaded after that. I was like, I said, there was a point I'm like, I might move back to Canada. I might stop comedy. I was like, I don't even know any comics here, and the few that I do, that they would have done that to me. Like, that's, I can understand if they'd never seen me before and they booked me and they were like, oh fuck, like, because I get it. If you saw that semifinal, you'd be like, this guy sucks.
A good promoter though wouldn't. A good promoter would go like, I also think in your head, it's always going to feel worse than it actually is. Because even like, I, as a comic myself, I know what it's like when you're on stage and you think, I didn't really enjoy that. And then someone's going, you fucking joking. Like, it was great. Like, so I get that. But like a good promoter would go, that happens to everybody.
Just so happened there. But in my head, what I told you before, where I want to get at, I have that mentality, I can't fail ever. So for me to do that, and my wife was like, but this isn't a comedy audience. And I had some comics that I know, one in particular who's known to be quite brash and tell you how it is. And he called me after and he goes, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. If you actually listen to it, you could probably clip a minute and a half, 2 minutes of that, and people would think that you're really funny. If you clipped, like, because you had some really big pops in there, but the way it all worked out. Yeah. But I still haven't and will not look at it anytime soon. But I remember doing it. But like on my night, there was a little girl who was deaf, and she was dancing, and she was from Ghana, and she couldn't hear, so she just danced the beat.
She was good, to be fair to her.
Fantastic, yeah.
I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, she was. I know, she's fantastic. The girl with fibromyalgia. There was this group of the first big LGBT group of boy dancers that they were all like gay dancers together. It was Bruno's Buzzer, and they were, to be fair, so lovely, but like it was like this empowering thing that these young boys had come out, and like their families were supportive of them. There was a choir of like 300 people. There was a kid with a brain tumor. Like it was all of this stuff, and it's like me squeaked in the middle of that, and it's like there was this guy singing like this beautiful like love ballad. So regardless of all that to be said, it was so ass, and it was so unfortunate for it to happen. But what it did give me is nobody can top that bomb. So when there is silence, as much as I do get PTSD, it's kind of like, okay, but at least it wasn't in front of 7 million people.
Yeah.
And it's actually given me a bit of like, I relax a bit more on stage, because you see me on stage and I'm quite like, like manic.
I do. When you speak, I go, oh my God, it's not just me.
Yeah.
I used to be so scared of silence.
Yeah.
And I used to be a lot quicker, like with jokes, go, go. And I start most sets that energy of go. And it took me a while to learn and go, no, you can pace yourself.
Yeah.
And silence isn't the worst thing. But the one thing I was like quickly learned was you learn so much more from a bad gig than you do a good gig.
Yes.
If you did a gig after gig, we all know a gig. We can both think of a gig now that's nice. We all know a place. They'll laugh at anything. It's just always a great gig. No,
you're not learning anything though.
And if you did that gig after gig after gig after gig after gig in the same room to the same people, just smashing it, when you then went to somewhere else and you didn't get the same reaction, I think that'll knock you so much more. Than if you just go, all right, okay, I've learned from that room and how to deal with this, and next time that comes up, because it will always come up, you learn more from bad gigs than you do from a good gig.
But I think I wish I had more gigs under my belt, or a bit more understanding of stand-up, like, because I have been doing it for a while, but not to the extent where it's like, part of me wishes like after Simon buzzed it, I just went like full stand-up, went and stopped and went, guys, what are we doing here? I almost wish I went that, like, what's with the buzzer? And I wish I just riffed and went, because I know now if I was in that position, always hindsight, but like now, and even there's been times where like I've had people heckle or say something, and like before I'd kind of be like, what? Yeah. And I'd keep in my set, and now I'll stop and go, what? Are you okay? Like I'm okay to sit in that.
Yeah.
But the one thing that sucks I've had, and it's such a reverse weird, backhanded compliment. I've had a few shows that I've done, and there's audience members that come up after, and they go, I saw you on BGT and you were terrible, but like, why didn't you do this? Because you were amazing here. And I was like,
they would let me.
That's not.
Thank
that's
you.
Come from that in their head. That's come from the right place. But out loud, you're like,
it's terrible.
I don't need to hear that.
I know, and that's happened. I've had that happen probably 4 or 5 times, where it's one guy goes, I saw you on BGT. He goes, you're much better here. And I was like, thank you. Like, that's okay. But I've had that whole like, what happened on your semifinal? One guy's like, I did a work in progress, and he was like, my wife booked the ticket, and I said, I'm excited to come here to see how shit he actually is. He said this to me.
He said it
No,
to
he
your
did
face.
say that
Yes,
to
he
your
did.
face.
He said it to me.
with people?
I know. He said it to my face, and he goes, but I was very surprised. So much different. Like, he's like, I don't know, like, what else happened? And I didn't even have the fucking energy to be like, well, this happened, and I couldn't say that. I was like,
I don't think you need to explain that to people, though.
I know, but it's my insecurity where I almost come when people go like, how are you? I think everybody's seen the show, and I'm like, I'm okay. This kind of went bad, and this went, and I want to say it.
It's trauma, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I had this woman, I did a show in Liverpool a few weeks back, and she goes, I saw you on the X Factor. I think you should have won it. And I was like, okay, wrong show. I don't even know if that show is still on. Yeah, and I was like,
a few years back.
Yeah, I was like,
well done you for being fabulous on it.
Yeah, that made me be like, nobody actually really cares.
No.
And nobody knows, because they all just think it's the same kind of thing. So yeah, it sucks. I'm still kind of in a weird spot, and like my confidence is just kind of gone, but I'll still go. Like, we were even saying that, like, I did a show last night, and it went.
Smashed it.
Yeah, but in my head, I was just like,
oh, no, it was great.
But then
I get it, though, because in your head, you're like, no, I want to be at this standard.
Yeah.
And even when people go, oh my God, you smashed it last night, and I'm still like going, yeah, how can I be better than that, though?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad mentality to have, but it's
also
mentality
terrible.
you need to manage really well.
Yeah.
Like, because of that, because I think, who was it? Like Nightingale's full of compliments. Like,
yeah.
And after doing like a gig with him, he's like, smashed it, mate, well done last night.
Yeah.
Great. And in your head going, like, it's why I don't really ask for feedback anymore. Like, did you still do that?
It's only in the past few months that I've stopped kind of going like, is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I used to do that a lot, and it comes across, I realize, maybe when I started doing comedy a few years, but like 10 years ago when I kind of did comedy in Canada on and off, I would almost do it almost like compliment fishy. Like, I don't know if that was good.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
now it got to a point where it was like genuinely be like, I need validation, not compliment fishing.
Yeah.
Being like, was that okay?
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
'Cause the reason I stopped like asking for that feedback was because it was like it felt like the go-to thing. Thanks for having me last night. If you got any feedback, that'd be great. And it's like in my head going, I don't want feedback. I want another gig.
Who the fuck is that person? Who?
Yeah, and it's one person in the room.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that I'm like annoyed with stand-up, but it's wild because this is what we have to do. It's all about being judged. I'm sick of doing, especially being new in the country, I'm sick of doing competitions. I'm sick of doing trial spots for producers or clubs.
Promoters.
Even though I get it, you have to do that. I understand that. But it's like that idea, who is this like king who's like, I think, yes, you're funny. You will pass. You will be on the weekend.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
And it's like, who are you? A lot of these people, I'm like, have you even done Okay, if you were a brilliant stand-up like, and you kind of like, oh, I don't do it anymore, I run my club, I'd be like, okay, I appreciate that. You're killing it in stand-up. You've been having all these years that you've done amazing at stand-up, but it's like, well no, I'm a drama arts director and I got this job and I'm the one who thinks you're funny or not. And it's like, okay, but you've never done stand-up.
No.
Yeah, but I watch a lot. It's like, okay.
No.
So
I hate that. I mean, I get it. I get the trial thing, but I should never have to do more than one for you to determine whether you're going to give me paid work or not. Like,
yeah.
There's promoters out there famous for just offering trial after trial after trial.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
Spiky, mate. And
yeah.
and that's and I just don't apply. And it's just like and it's not me like going, no, go fuck yourself. It's just like I just think like maybe it's an arrogance now, but I just value my time a bit more than to drive for 2 hours in the hope that you give me.
I don't even think it's arrogance because we're all very misunderstood. We're all very insecure people.
Yeah.
We all know that. And I don't understand this idea that we're all putting up a front as if we're not, because we all know the reason we're doing this is we're fucked up.
Yeah.
So
we're looking for that validation.
Yeah, why are we doing that? So if somebody's, in my head, I don't understand, if I see somebody and they kill it, like Scott Bennett is the first person I saw that I like almost got emotional watching him because it was so good.
Oh, he's brilliant.
And I remember I went up to him and I was like, I just want to be your friend. And it's not even like I want to get anything from you. It's like, I want to be your friend because you have such talent.
Yeah.
And if I can learn anything from you, not using you, if I could just learn, if I could run something by you, or if I could, I'll see you something like another time. Like, I'm not trying to get anything out of it. It's like, it's that whole idea of like who you surround yourself with. You know, they always say that. So I would love to surround myself always with people who are way funnier because then I'm like, okay, I can't rest on this. Like if we were in the open circuit, and there's some hilarious people in the open circuit, I genuinely mean, I don't understand how some of you don't get paid work, but there's some people that you're like, okay, you could hang around the open circuit and be like, I'm God's gift to stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But you're not going anywhere. You're staying in the same kind of thing, right? So, I don't know. I'm in this weird...
They say that in business though, don't they? You don't want to be the smartest man. If you're running a company, you don't want to be the smartest man in that room.
Yeah.
And you want everyone else around you to be better than you at what we're trying to achieve because they're the one who's going to push you in the right direction.
Yes.
And I think it's the same with comedy.
Yeah.
I would not want to be surrounded by people that everything I said went, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Every fucking joke that's come out of my mouth, and Michelle will back me up. Not every one of them's funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I'm like, is this funny? And she's just looking at it like going, and I've done the whole bit, I'm like, is it funny? And she's like, oh, I was waiting for the punchline. I was like, I said that 7 minutes ago.
I'm that honest friend.
But that's good. You need that.
And it's the same with that. Like you said, Scott Bennett's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Same with Danny Mark, the way his mind works.
I don't know how that guy does. He's.
But they are good. It's just good to have someone like surrounding yourself around with people who can. It's. With anything, not just with
super truthful.
Yeah, well, not even just super truthful. It's just like,
but you don't even.
It makes you up your game.
Yeah.
So there's like there's that stigma of like the support acts is not as good as the person you're going to see. But if you look at some acts now, Adam Rowe will do it. He will get a solid support act because it's like if he's absolutely killing it, I have to up my game to be on the same level.
I love that. I don't believe in that. Oh, I can't. Well, great. I have to follow that guy. The only time I felt, because I'm always quite high energy, Dan Tiernan, who's so funny and really high energy. I was doing a thing and he went on before me and he was thinking, I was like, ooh, and it was the first time, because there's comics that are way funnier than me. So many that I don't even say jokes. I do silly fucking voices. So that are so much funnier. But he had like that kind of energy that I had, that kind of like in your face.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, ooh, like it was like, oh, I like that, because now I have to go on and be like, no, you were there, I'm fucking here, and it's it's I see that as like a fun like challenge,
competition.
I, in my head, years ago, maybe when I first started, but now I'm just like, oh, let's have fun here. Let's see, let's challenge myself and see if I can do it.
Because if you do good, then I do good, and then we're all doing good. Like
we're all doing good.
Opening, it's the hardest spot to do, and it's like it's a thankless kind of job, because you're like, oh, okay, like. I know I'm going to warm up. By the end, they'll be into it, but I know if I was to do the middle, I would have done so much better, because they're like
I've just done those spots over the weekend and I fucking loved it.
The middle?
The middle.
Is it Blackpool?
No, it was up in Scotland. It was up in Glasgow.
Oh.
I did the middle after the break, after a really low energy opener.
Oh, isn't that the best?
I fucking can't
You
wait.
need those sometimes. It's almost like you feel. That's why I love the Blackpool Comedy Station.
I love that. Yeah.
One night you do an open, next night you do a middle, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to see the difference. And sometimes it's like, oh, you'll do well. Like they're really up for it right off the top, but oh god.
You all right? Do you want a drink?
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Do you want a donut? Will that help?
Don't
fuck off you. Thanks.
He's on a journey.
Thanks, Dad. I've been doing this for 12 hours. like already like, okay, fine.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah. But I find it's an interesting, but I'm in this weird thing where I because before I came here, I did a lot of like acting and sketch and improv, and I love doing character work. And that's like, I want to do TV shows and like write them. And even though TV's dying, but like whatever.
You could do though. Like Peter Kay did the whole like
Phoenix Nights
and that way he's played different characters. You could fucking nail it.
But
you could do that without any backing. Oh my god, why aren't we doing this? You could fucking YouTube is free. All you need is a half decent camera to get you going, and
I'll do the catering. I'll bring salad and grilled chicken.
Thank you.
You could literally, mind you, but you do anyway on social media anyway. You have your little sketches.
I'm in a weird thing with social media. Sorry, this is going on way too long. By the way,
no.
Sorry,
it's usually me and her, and she's talking about farting. So it's actually nice to have a proper conversation.
Sorry.
I feel she feels so underappreciated today. We've both been like, yeah, fuck off.
Fuck off. You don't like Nickelback. Fuck off. You don't get half.
She sat there, me and you discussing fucking pre-diabetic state. She's going, do you want a donut?
Yeah.
I don't even put any weight on you in a donut.
You guys have trauma? Everybody, a rash again? A rash.
I had to put a wet towel on my foot once. Does that count? Does anybody?
But social media is another thing. I'm in this weird thing where it's like, we were talking about this yesterday, and something happened that we stopped. You guys are so lucky where you're at, because it's good, because when you find a thing, sometimes you can get stuck to that thing, and it feels like if you stray away from it, and it's happened to me. People are like, no, we don't like that.
All right,
and it stints your views and all that dumb. I have a weird love-hate with social media, because I'm in this moment now where I would do a lot of like UK versus USA, or I'll do, different accents, or I'm a little bit confused. I'll say, and it works, but like now I'm getting bored of it, and I want to play characters. So I want to do like POV, everyone's Irish mother, and just me do like little things, walking around the house, saying little things, and cutting, and going out and doing, hanging up the washing, and doing like a little thing. Like, but I know my audience will be like, okay, but what's it? We don't really look at Irish stuff. This is all UK stuff.
Yeah.
Or like, POV. I know it's been done before, but it's just a different take. POV, your Northern Nan. And like me saying like little things as Northern Nan, and like dressing up and playing that character. And I have so many funny little things, but I just know it'll kind of not really hit.
Do you think it
will
might?
It not? Or
might reduce like your target audience, because it'll only be relevant to the specific people. It'll be like, yeah, my nan does that, but
I was just thinking,
London's like, oh, my nana didn't do that.
No, because I know I've seen people do, because POV is a really big thing on TikTok right now. Everybody's doing it. Oh, where's your fucking head?
That just went straight.
You were so excited to say that. And Pornhub.
Sorry. I don't know why I said that. I might cut that out.
No, you're not. No.
But like, I've seen people where it's like, my Long Island mom. And like, they'll be talking like, pour me another glass, and there's, even though I do not have a mother from Long Island, I'm like, I know that woman.
Yeah.
Or like I've known somebody like that, or I can relate. I have an English version of that. So instead of me getting in my head and be like, me do like Northern Nan, I'd be like, oh, look at signs, and talking about like, you hear about, Teresa, she died, and like all different things where you're kind of like, what? Everybody knows of that, or even if they don't have that accent, they could have like an Essex accent or whatever it is, but it's like you can still connect with that character. But sometimes I force feed it to like, this is what I'm trying to say, and I kind of want to go with this. I've made another account that I want to start posting on where I almost give I don't want to give any even description, and I don't even want to write anything underneath it with hashtags, and I just want to do it and have people either go, what is this, or people be like, I know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, I kind of want to do that, because that to me is a lot of fun, instead of going POV when you go to the pub and you ask for a pint and then this happens. Now I'm saying the joke. It's too like on a spoon. Here it is. I kind of want to do it. It's like I'm at a pub and I say something and something weird happens, and that's the actual video.
Like, sketches.
I think though you're in a really good position with your following, so you've got that they're already connected and invested in what it is you deliver.
Yeah. Because in fact, I know for a fact you will have super fans. I work with one. She sends me your videos.
Really?
Oh, no, Jane, her name is. She had to, when I because she's a massive fan of yours. Yeah. And when I told you like you were coming on, she was like, she's never watched one episode of this podcast. When I said she was,
Jane, how's it going, girl? You all right, love?
She was like, oh my god, I might actually watch this. And then like literally last week, she was like, would you ask him if you'd like FaceTime me? I was like, I'm not fucking asking him to FaceTime.
That'll be very comfortable.
I say that, she scares me. I was like, I'll ask you.
You're funny.
No, there's some love. I love, especially on Facebook. There's like a group of like 10 women. Oh, I love it. Especially if a video goes viral and some people are like, this isn't funny, this guy's that. And they're like, you can go fuck yourself. Aggressive. That's not Kev. You don't talk about Kev. And I'm like, I love you ladies. Like, they're fantastic. But I made a mistake on my Instagram recently, and I got kind of banned or shadow banned because I posted a story stupidly. It was like an ad, but it was for a crypto thing, and something happened. And
I thought you got hacked.
Well, no, so initially I thought it was, but they sent me a PayPal thing, so I'm like, oh, I'll get a little pay for that story thing, and then it ended up getting hacked, and they got into my account, and then it's like they bugged it or something happened. Okay. So then what happened with Instagram is I'm not allowed to go live for 3 months. I'm not allowed to monetize, even though I don't really monetize for 3 months. I'm not allowed to, the worst one, none of my videos are shown to non-followers anymore. Wow. And that's where I was making...
ever again? Or?
I don't know. And it sucked because I was just hitting a thing where I was getting 300, 400, 500 followers a day, and my videos were going. And
a day?
Yes.
A day?
It was...
Imagine that, John. 500 in a day.
I get a message from her, she's like, we got 2 followers this week.
But it was killing. I got up... This is so after BGT happened, I was sad, and I just started posting videos, and I was posting some other things, and so I gained something like 70,000 followers on Instagram in like a month.
Wow.
And it was going, and my videos were going, and then that happened, and it literally all halted in one day. Everything halted. And so now when I post videos, I used to be getting some of the videos we get on Instagram, which is much harder to get on Instagram than TikTok or anything. TikTok, So Instagram, I was getting, some were getting 100,000 to 300,000. Some were getting 1 million views on Instagram, which is like hard. Some were getting 2 or 3 million views. My worst videos were getting like 90 to 100,000 views. And now they're like at like 30, 40, which is still cool.
1,000.
Yeah. That makes it sound like
34. It was like, what a drop.
Yes, same as us. But it's just it sucks because hearing that, I know it sounds very like ugh, but
no, I get it.
It's disheartening because
especially when because it's essentially your career, isn't it? So you've got to constantly keep at it. And I this is a little behind the fucking curtain. I don't touch our social media.
I hate social media.
I leave it for Michelle.
And I think Instagram disheartens me. Like,
because
sometimes, when you put things out and it'll fly on TikTok, and then I look at Instagram and I'm like, hey, it's got 79 views.
You got to post it across 4 platforms. Every time I do a video, I post it on my Facebook page. I post it on my TikTok. I post it on Instagram, and then I post it on YouTube Shorts. And I've had videos that have died on their hole on all three, and one of them goes boom.
Yeah.
So I've had where I didn't even touch my Facebook page. I didn't even know what I was like. I would just put it to be like, oh, whatever. And then one day, this was like a few months back, I'm like, what the hell? I was like, I have 60,000 followers on my Facebook page. I was like, and then I was like, some of my videos have 300, 400, 500,000 views. I'm like, I wouldn't even look at it. I was just more concerned about it, like TikTok. And then I was like, okay. And then I would do stuff. I did a video the other day, and it sucked because I was so excited about it. And I knew if I had the non-follower thing off on Instagram, it would have done well. I did Emergency Dispatch, where it was the US versus a Scouser. And it on Facebook, it did really, really well. On TikTok, it did really well as well. And then on Instagram, it got good amount of engagement, but it was because
you're limited.
Yeah, it didn't go. And I knew that video would have gone pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's made me kind of like, now I'm like, I don't even know. Like I'm in a weird funk. I'm like, I don't really want to post content. I don't really want to do stuff. But then it's weird. It's fucking, we all know it's
you have your ups and downs. But I reckon you have that in any job.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we spoke about on here, my dream job was just to be a pilot. But I still reckon that if I was a pilot, some days I'd walk in and go, I can't be fucked today. And I genuinely think there's like Premier League footballers, you just go, I can't be fucked today.
Yeah, it's true.
And I reckon there's rock stars. I reckon no matter what you're doing in life, you're always going to have those up and downs.
Look, the fact that we get blessed enough to go and make a good amount of money on a set, on a stand-up set, that you're like, yes, keep in mind that the percentage of people that can do that is so small. But we go like, I'm sure there's times you're like, I'd rather just sit in and just watch a movie tonight. And you're like, I can make 150 pounds, 200 pounds, sometimes even more, go and do in 20 minutes. People think I'm brilliant. And
always pick up a set, then stay at home.
Yeah.
Always.
It's happened to me so many times where I've gone, and actually last night's set, if it wasn't for my wife, I was trying to be like, to get it, because I was feeling really low, and I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this. I don't know. And thank God I have a wife that is an asshole, but in the best way. She's like, no, you'll feel even worse about it. Yeah, it'll feel good at the moment. You sit, you watch the Liverpool game, sit and have a bit of food, and it's great. Comfort is so dangerous. And we all go into that, and that's where it's like, I'm breaking out of that. And I always try, unless it's like a genuine emergency, I try so hard not to bail out of stuff, even though there's times that I go to that gig and I'm like, I'd rather do anything.
Oh yeah.
But then you're driving home, you're like, I'm so happy I did that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think it is. It's that those up and downs. I've had moments where, like especially, on a Saturday, for example, because it's literally like you're waiting all day. And then you're like, right, okay, and I can't be fucking arsed.
Yeah.
And then you're driving to the gig, I can't be fucking arsed. I'm going to get home at such and such a time.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat late. I'm going to do can't be fucking arsed. But then there's also part you're going, this is what you wanted to do. This is you wanted.
This is deep here.
Yeah.
Do you ever get upset? And I wonder if any comics will relate to this, or anybody watching, especially for comedy. We used comedy to escape. We used comedy for me, when I would see people fighting, or my mom and dad, if they were getting, like, as a kid, I remember being like, if I do something comedic here, it'll break this tension. Sometimes the last thing you want to be is Mr. Funny Guy, especially if you're having a fucking rough day and you're like, how am I now supposed to go? I mean, it's awful for everybody, but like at least some of those comics that are like relaxed and they're just like, yeah, hey, how's it going? And you can kind of get away with it that way. But like, especially for mine, that's very like, hey, I'm Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky Guy. When I'm like, I've just had an awful day and I have to go and pretend to be, like, I have to switch this on. But again, it goes the same thing. The footballer can be the same, a musician.
Yeah.
It is the same, but I find comedy, it's really difficult. At least football, you can play angry. You can play good angry.
Yeah, you can get it. Even, a singer could scream angry.
Yeah, and they can.
But how can you can't angrily go, hey, you see that one the other day? Like, you can't angrily
go through your bits.
Because like, I think MCing is probably very easy for it to slip out. If someone just heckles with the wrong thing, you can.
Oh, I've seen it.
You could go from being the funny guy to the angry guy. I think doing your set is easier to hide it in a way, because it's like
playing a character.
Because it is. It's like acting, isn't it? It's like, this is my script. This is what I'm going to say. I've just got to put the effort in to do whatever. But I think I've had a couple of gigs where I stopped doing it now, and I did that typical. It was years ago. A typical cliche going. You do like, I've got 2 kids that are a pair of bellends, for example. And at the time I was going, why the fuck am I saying that? I love my kids. Like,
you're falling into that trap.
And it was like, and then I remember it was like I was leaving for a gig one night, and one of them was, they were younger, and they were upset, and they sorted it all out, and it's like I was thinking about it all the way there, going, oh fucking hell, like, and then in your head, if especially you've got like a loved one, you start like fucking thinking it, and then I had to go on stage and go, oh yeah, pair of bellends, and I was like, so I just stopped. I was like, well, I don't even believe that.
That's why I don't really talk about my wife much, and I have so much material I could do, but like her being Filipina, like and Canadian, so she sounds, there's so much undertone of racism in this country. Well, not now, it's rampant now. But there's so much. One, everybody thinks we're American, so they see her and they'll kind of like look, and then she opens and she starts talking. They're kind of like, oh, and they just immediately think she's Chinese and think she's whatever. So it's just, there's that. So I could go on, and all of her family I love doing the Filipino accent, and it's such a silly accent. I can do it very well. But I don't even go there because out of respect for my wife, and I know she's very funny and very silly and very lighthearted, but it's like, I know she's very sensitive. So she doesn't even sound like that. And I could go on stage and go, oh, my wife, she was talking to me. What are you doing, Kevin? And I could get laughs with that. But then she'd be like, now if people meet me, they'll be like, oh, that's the one with that silly accent, whatever it is, right? So that
people take everything you say.
Literally, yeah.
Like literally. When I started, when I started comedy, I wasn't single. But when I actually started writing, I was.
Yeah.
And then I got with someone, and she came to a gig, so I did all this bit about being single. And then after the gig, someone came up and went, I thought you said you were single, who's this? And you're like,
I know.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I can't just change it on a whim. Like, we only got together like recently.
But I'm happy that you do that with your kids, because that's not fair. That's giving the audience power for no reason.
It's more, I think more as well, especially with social media.
Yeah.
There's a couple of videos that I need to have a couple of conversations with someone. I just need taken down.
Yeah.
Because not so much then, when I was maybe saying it, but more so now, especially doing this podcast, as we found, is they will see it when it goes online. They will see it. Like, so
let's say that you have a bad day with them, and you know, you say something, and then it could trigger. They go, maybe what he said on stage, he actually meant that, which is not the case.
Yeah, and I always thought, like, imagine like hearing your. I mean, they know I'm joking. I mean, me and my kids have got a great relationship. Like, by the way, we have so much banter. I always said my kids will have really thick skin or a complex. Like, we have that much, and it turns out it was complex. But
well, broken arm seems to really.
But we have quite a lot of banter. So I know, like, they wouldn't be like, oh my god, my dad said this about me. But I'm very much like aware that they could. Like, imagine how I would feel if oh, is my dad telling jokes? What's he talking about? And he was like, oh, he's just called me bellend for 20 minutes. Like, and then I was like, oh,
maybe it would if you. I think it's different if you ran it by them. Do you know what I mean? If you kind of said,
there's in the show, I won't go because it's borderline racist. Like, my son was getting racially abused in school.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah,
is your Mrs.
No, he's a white kid. It's
fully white.
It's he was getting. I'll tell you off camera. It's quite funny. And there was at a time when he come home, he was like, oh yeah. And
you literally look like Hitler's wet dream. How was your child like?
And my son is my son, but he was getting. I don't know if I'm going to cut this out because his mates will watch. But he was.
I'll say it.
No. I mean, I'm just on about his mates seeing it. So, hi Ben.
Hi Louis.
So, because my son's mates watch it, and he was telling me about it, and it was like, oh my god, that's really bad. But then also because of it, I'm like, it's funny though.
Yeah.
So when I was doing, I mean, I'm like, so all he was saying to me is like, have you wrote your show? You wrote all the jokes for your show? I was like, yeah. I've decided I'm going to say this about like that, and he was like, are you actually? I was like, if that's all right, and he was like, I think he saw the funny side to it, like, because he does now. He does now because I taught him how to deal with it. Yeah. Because he was telling me, and I was like, fucking what, him? And then I did all this like bang, bang, bang about this like the lad who was saying it, and I was like, just go back and say this, and now everyone thinks he's dead funny.
Yeah, I think there's a bit that I was trying to help my friend with. So he's got 2 daughters, and one of his daughters, one's like 2 and one's 4. and the one that's 4 will like play toys with him, and then he'll do something, and she'll go, "Daddy, that's not the correct way to do it," and he'll go, "Oh," and I said, "It's so funny if you like feel embarrassed that your child's like calling you stupid, and you start like ranting about it on stage about like how like my daughter's an asshole, my daughter like," and there's a funny way to do it, but like you're self-conscious because you're not playing teddies properly. You know, you're doing different things. That's a funny spin on it, but you're not going, "My daughter's a bitch," or whatever it is. You're obviously projecting like you're so insecure that your 4-year-old thinks you're stupid, and you're playing it that. So I think there's ways to go about it, but I've seen some comics like, "Yeah, I've got a 15-year-old, he's a fucking piece of shit," and it's like, okay, what's the loving joke here though? But there's not one,
and that's what I'm trying to. I with George, I spun it on the. Like that, he's funnier, he's quicker, and he's so much more wittier than me. And it's like, and he literally, I was convinced that he just wakes up every day to go, "How can I fuck with him today?"
See, that's a great way to.
And that was the angle I went with it, because that is, honestly, I wish I had his fucking wittiness. I'll go, "Where's he get it from?" And everyone's like, "You?" I'm like, he's quicker than me. Because even I think I'm quite witty, but he'll say stuff to me like that, and I've got nothing. I'm like, and he's like 10 years old, and he'll just be like, "Dad, because of I'm like, and I'll just crumble.
Yeah.
And in the end, I'm just like, oh.
But that's good. That's a funny outlook on how to look at it. But I still think you should do stand up.
Oh,
I don't know.
Gonna give it a go.
I think just literally do. I've seen so many.
Not a gong show.
Do a 5-minute on a Monday at Hot Water. So.
Do the 26.
What a beautiful place to, like, that is the dream place to do. I've seen people that I'm telling you are the least funny people I've ever seen in my life and go up there and do well. You have presence, you have the ability, you have him to help you with writing some stuff as well.
Want to figure out how to write my own.
But I think you should give it, well, not to pressure, but it's one of those things. I have a love-hate with it as well, but I think you have the ability to do it. But don't do it if you're just like, "Oh, I'll just kind of do it," but why wouldn't you?
No, it's just scary, isn't it?
Oh, I'm still frightened. I'm every day. I said to you before I went on, I should have pooed.
Yeah.
Remember? Yesterday. I should have pooed.
You've gone for your wee, but you didn't poo.
That never goes away.
I especially speaking more openly with other comics and hearing that.
Yeah.
The biggest eye opener for me was name drop here when I gigged with Russell Kane.
Yeah.
And we were backstage, and he was like bouncing everywhere.
Yeah.
And again, another comedy hero.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was like started doing fucking like press ups and everything. I just went, "You're right." He just went, "Doesn't matter if it's like a 2,000-3,000 seater theatre or a 200 seater. Still get nervous. Still fucking ride the nervous energy." And I was like, "Fucking hell, this guy's been on the telly. This guy's
he's also like the fucking Energizer Bunny. He needs to get stuff out. Like he's
got
flying,
that much energy, and he's still saying he's getting nervous for this fucking 200-seater gig in Bury.
Well, even I've heard that about Robin Williams. The same. Like that's all manic energy, but like nervous, just hanging on the seat of his pants. Somebody told me, I forget who it was. Somebody told me about Mickey Flanagan. Just as he had got his big success in like 2010 or 2011.
Yeah,
doing theater tours, and he was going to do another tour, and somebody was supporting him, but he was doing like work in progresses, and he was writing stuff out, and he was like dripping sweat, and he was panicking, and I think this comic was like, "You're Mickey Flanagan, like everybody loves you. You could go out there and say nothing." And he goes, "Every show is I'm a new comic every single time, like especially every new show.
Wow,
I'm a new comic." Wow. Which is so crazy to hear. That it's almost nice to hear, because you see these people, and sometimes I wear my heart on my sleeve too much. I give people too many of the chips and let them know how I'm feeling, which I'm learning to not do that as much, because you have to kind of play that bit of poker. But it's rare. You can't tell me one comic, even if a comic is brilliant, they have some sort of, whether it be nerves, whether it be bitterness of something else, there's some sort of vice or some sort of thing that's gripping them in a different way. Nobody's going like, I'm great, and I go on, and I'm fantastic, and even if it goes bad, I know I'm fantastic all the time.
The more I speak to comedians, the more I like realising that. I mean, I'd rather have the nerves than the bitterness. But I was quite. We gigged in Northwich, where we had this a similar conversation. Was it last year now? What was it? Last November?
So like 6 or 7 months ago, yeah.
Yeah, and you said, and you were saying about like nerves and things.
Yeah,
like
because that was our first time we like kind of talked.
Actually spoke. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
was
remember
like,
you being like, "What?"
Yeah, I was so like, I was like, you're fucking incredible.
Oh,
and
dude,
it wasn't just me blowing smoke up up your ass. Like genuinely, I was like, you're fucking great. What are you?
Well, I appreciate that. Even Binti, every time I'm in hot water, I know they have a weird thing of hot water, but I'll be in the back room, and you've probably seen me do it. I pace nonstop. I'm everybody's sat and talking, and I'm pacing. And Binti's walked by me many times. You go, "You're all right." Danny Mac has gone, "What are you doing?" Like, out of all people, he's usually doesn't say anything to anybody, but he's like, "What are you doing? You're gonna be fine. Like, what's happening?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it never goes. It never kind of switches off, which sucks because like I hate it. That part sucks.
Yeah.
But then I'm in that weird thing. I think especially after BGT, at least I have the payoff where I'd come off, and if somebody said it was great, I'd be like, "Oh, thank you. That feels good."
Yeah.
Now I'm just kind of numb to it. Where that's where it's like. Today was lovely. The few messages I got from the show last night from random people that were there, I was kind of like, "Oh, okay."
The Giggle Shack crowd are great. Shout out, Carl.
Oh, they're
because
fantastic.
they will. People who love it will fucking go out of their way to tell you they love it.
Yeah, that was.
I did my own work in progress in there for those people. I was like, if I'm going to do it anywhere for the first time, it needs to be here.
Yeah,
they're so good.
No, and they really were up for it as well, which is nice. So, I like it. So, anyways, anything else you want to ask me?
I don't know.
You didn't prepare any questions for me? We're just starting.
Anyway, should we click record and start? How do you come up with all those voices? Are you sick of that question? That's the one question I'll ask. Like when people go, "How'd you practice all those voices?" Are you just like, "Oh, fuck off"?
This is gonna sound such a percent. It's almost like how did you learn to sing that well, or how did you like those people? It's one of those things that like I can't do impressions, which is why I wish I could do impressions. So I would go out, like my friend can do impressions. He can watch something for 2 minutes and do it like perfect.
Really?
It's one of those things. I think I just watched telly as a kid and heard my dad having a lot of Huddersfield influence and Liverpool influence. My mom being from Dublin. All of my mom's brothers and sisters, 6 of them, all kind of married either English or Irish people. My dad's mates, he made friends in Canada with other English people. And then we had like the BBC channel in Canada, so we'd watch that. And then I was like always told that Canadian humor shit, the English or Irish is the best. So I would just kind of watch that, and I would just pick up little things. Then my mom watched Coronation Street religiously.
Yeah.
So I remember hate watching it, but I would hear all the different
accents.
things. Yeah, Vera, like that, fucking her. And then Fred, I say, fucking big Fred. So I'd be watching it, and I guess I just kind of picked it up, and then it's all about, I guess what I do is I think of what that person would look like when I'm doing the voice.
Yeah.
And then it makes it easier because I almost give that that voice a person.
You're playing that character.
Yeah, I do it. But then there's some I can't, like the Geordie accent, I always go into Welsh all the time. I can't do Geordie really well.
Yeah. No, we can't either.
But I find Welsh very easy. It's very sing-songy.
Yeah, up and
like
down.
when you do
it's a little bit up and down.
Call Fireman Sam.
Why are you so cute with your
Call Fireman Sam. Have a cup of tea and sit down with us.
sit down right there in a minute.
Whenever I do Welsh, it's just because like my kids watch Fireman Sam growing up, so that's all I ever heard. It was like, call Fireman Sam.
I don't.
I guess my insecurity with that is I sometimes go, do people find me funny, or are people just saying my accent is funny, or am I saying funny things in the accent?
No, I feel like you nail it on all aspects because you've got the accent, which you do really well. You probably do accents much better than people in the UK. We're from here and we can't do it.
I think that's the magic though, isn't it?
Oh,
she gets like that.
I'm not being funny. You've chatted all fucking night.
I'm giving you.
So you've got the accent. The content's good because it's relatable though as well. So the things that you say and do, like the Christmas ones, like Christmas with your Scouse dads, and it's that's what happens.
Because which is what a lot of it. I guess I kind of try figure it out, but I'm always, because a lot of people be like, "Oh, your accents are so funny." So in my head, I'm always like, is it just the voice that's funny, or is it? Am I actually saying things? Which I like to think that on top of it, it's not as funny as there's so many other way better joke writers, but I think the stuff, especially if I'm doing it on stage, I'm at least saying a funny thing on top of the accent, so it's kind of making two things that are like accent's good, material's a little weak. Put it together and it makes it pretty good. That's I'd like to think that. It's not, because I'm not just going, anybody know Scousers? Hello, I'm from Liverpool. Isn't that funny how you guys sound like that? Like, I'm at least kind of trying to piece together or
an actual bit to go with it.
So I guess that is.
I think you capture that.
Yeah, thank you.
The magic of it. The magic. Because when you were saying before, there's always going to be people who's going to go, I know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
I can picture someone being exactly like that, saying that line.
And that's where I want that. I think just from watching who I love, Peter Kay, like, which sucks because he's taken everything that's ever happened ever. And so you're like, okay, I can't say anything with somebody being like, oh, but like, he's literally taken every British relatable thing and coined it.
Yeah.
So that, but like, that aunt, that uncle, that woman who's working at the supermarket, like you kind of see it. But I think the thing that's different there is like, he would kind of just do it northern the whole time. Like he would do it in Lackey's Bolton kind of the whole time. Whereas I can give that person a Scottish, or I can give that person a Scouse, or, Barnsley, or down south somewhere.
You can give its own personality to it.
Yeah. So I can give more than just like, okay, it's just in this little generic thing. I can give that something else. So yeah.
Brilliant.
I love that. And finally, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve in 2025? I know that Britain's Got Talent's knocked your confidence a bit.
Yeah.
How are we empowering through that?
I would like in 2025 to be comfortable in myself in my stand-up and just, go in it and just not care as much what other people think and just have fun, because I haven't been having fun in the past year and a bit. And then I'd love to have some TV appearances with acting. I want one Coronation Street episode. That's what I want. So yeah, I'll die happy with that. So I'm hoping to get
if he gets it from this, I'm not saying it's because of us, but
I want. You better clip this. If I get a Corey thing, you better clip this.
Not the one before where he was like, "My mum had Corey on every night, and I fucking hated it. I really want to be on
Northern.
it."
I'm Northern now as a kid. I fucking hated it. But yeah, I'd love to get an acting agent and do some acting things for 2025 and just enjoy it more. I think that's
exciting.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to watch this space.
Yeah. Oh, watch this space.
Watch this space.
Enjoy editing this 8-hour podcast.
Hang on, let me just ring work. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to be late. I'll be in about
Is this
10.
your longest thing? Is this your longest one?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God. Almost 3 hours. I'm so sorry that you have to watch this.
I think maybe the first 20 minutes were...
I'm not asked. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. It's all going out.
All the racial slurs.
Not the bit at the beginning where we were just like, two nuns in a brothel.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
So much
let me reverse this. What do you guys want to do and have completed? Or
I just want to be fat and rich.
Fat? So you've 50% away there.
I usually do. I don't set New Year's resolutions, but I always set something that I just want to achieve that year. What was 2024's? 2024. So 2024's. I wanted to take my kids on holiday. I'd never took them abroad, and we've done that. Done it twice. Yeah. And so I wait towards the end of the year and go, right, what do I want to achieve this year? I don't set a New Year's resolution. It's just, what do I want to achieve this year? So I've not set that yet. So that was a pretty shit answer. I just... well,
that petered out. Well, thanks. And yourself.
But,
I think I might push myself out my comfort zone more. I think I might try stand-up. Who knows?
I think you could easily do that before the end of 2024. Just one.
Yeah,
just try one. And then in 2025... Try do a
garden social.
That's on tomorrow. I'm hosting the Monday Night Hot Water in September.
That's in my calendar. I've got it in there.
Go and sign up.
Oh,
I want to start doing shows. We can finish.
We'll finish it off. Michelle, let Kev and our listeners know where they can find us.
So, as you know, guys, you can contact us on Instagram and TikTok with our DMs, or you can drop us a little email at 5pensechange@hotmail.com.
Kev, where can everyone find you?
You can find me in my home. Instagram, TikTok, all that at KevoFinn, KevoFinn, and I'll see you there.
Anything else you want to plug? You got any shows coming up?
No, I'm going on. I'm doing shows at P&O Cruises soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about this.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I've just been on a cruise. Oh my god, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I'm doing that in first week of September. So I'm going. They're flying me to Marseille. Get on in Marseille.
Amazing.
Go to different things. So I have to do 3 that are family friendly.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. And then 3 that are my own thing. 30-minute sets, so it's fine.
That is so.
Yeah.
I'm
So
so
fingers
jealous.
crossed it goes well.
How did you get them? No, tell me after.
Yeah, how did you get that?
No, I just mean like,
We all saw you fucking bring.
That's not what I was saying.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Yeah.
not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying.
I'm excited
I
for
just
that.
wanted. I've been on a cruise. I said to you, then I was like, I need to work on it and live on a cruise from now
But we
on.
literally talked about it last night to Matt.
Matt Reed, yeah, Matt Reed as well.
He's,
Yeah,
he's
just
done
okay.
it. He
Yeah.
was telling us about his experience.
Anyway,
good?
we'll carry this on.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. There's Kev.
Thank you, guys.
Our first ever guest who's been an absolute star. Thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you so much.
Love you
We love
guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you again. Bye, love.
Bye, Felicia.